First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you could never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman, live from Toronto. TakeOver, the tailgate, it happened. TakeOver Toronto, it happened. And we're here doing an NXT TakeOver Toronto 2 post-show for postwrestling.com. David, we just sat through a lot of wrestling. Before that, we did a sold-out show here in Toronto for our TakeOver tailgate. And right off the top, shout out to everyone who showed up. Shout out to everyone who supported us on the interwebs, the Twitter machines, and all of the people from all over the world who were like, hey, I couldn't be there, but I'm there in spirit. And you're right, you were, because that was awesome. That was a fun day.
It was fun, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm exhausted. It's been a day. Whew. It's been a real day, but I think everything turned out pretty well.
It did.
Pretty well. I'm sure we'll go into more detail about it this week, but yeah, just a massive thank you to everyone that turned up, everyone that supported us. I hope everyone that was there had a great time. I had a great time. Mm-hmm. I think we're joined by a few fellas in this room right now who were there. Right. I think they had a great time.
Yes, we are. We just all sat at NXT TakeOver Toronto. We're sitting with the people we sat with. We're here with friends of the show, Scrump from Chicago.
Bang, bang. What is up, you guys?
We're with MJ from NJ.
Oh, yeah.
And Jesse from the 66666.
Good evening.
Good evening, yes. We all sat and watched TakeOver Toronto. And, well, like you said, we had a long day. We were at our TakeOver thing. Even W.H. Park, John Pollock, and Wei Ting showed up.
Yeah.
That's when, Cowboy Wei Ting.
Wei Ting,
that's right.
Yeah.
And we had a fantastic time. And, again, shout out Davie Portman for pretty much putting this whole thing together. It was an idea we had time and time ago. And I guess we can say, it's already happened, the reveal that we had.
Yeah.
About 3 months ago, when we started planning our TakeOver tailgate, me and you were at home, as we do, just enjoying our evening. Maybe after a night out, we were sitting on our couch and we were like, how can we make the TakeOver tailgate cool? And I literally said, it'd be funny if we did a watch-along with Almas and Gargano versus Gargano, the match that we love here at upNXT. I said, hey, why don't you message Johnny Gargano and see what he thinks about that? So you did. You sent him a fucking novel on Twitter.
His DMs were open. His DMs are open. Fuck it, I'm doing it. I'm shooting my shot.
And you did. And we got no reply. 3 months later, Johnny Gargano replied, and he made a video for our NXT tailgate. So
yeah, it was awesome.
So if you were there, you kind of had to be there. But shout out Johnny Gargano, shout out Johnny Wrestling, because he's just the man for doing that. That was so awesome. So again, you kind of had to be there, but it was great. It was so awesome. So we just watched a lot of wrestling, as did the world here in SummerSlam weekend. Me and Scrump checked out Progress on Thursday night in Toronto, and we got to see Walter was in action, Tony Storm, a bunch of the Progress regulars, and then me and Scrump went out for nachos at Sneaky D's right after, a local spot. If you're in Toronto, go visit and get their nachos. King's Crown, beans on the side, and NXT UK just walked in. They just walked into the bar.
Yep, they just
Walter in normal clothes.
Well, it was
weird.
I wasn't there, but I'm assuming he wears the same jeans as Angelo Dawkins.
I think he was
sweatpants.
He was wearing those ring comp sweatpants. As
right.
much as people say I'm on brand with wearing pro wrestling tee everything,
he was.
That guy is on brand with his ring comp gear.
Ring comp, yes. So clearly the NXT UK guys know where to eat when they visit the Six, Sneaky D's, the nachos, obviously. And then we went to Ring of Honor. Summer Card of Honor. Summer something. Super Card of Honor.
Super Summer Slam of Honor.
It was Ring of Honor Hot Girl Summer.
Yes, that's what it was. We got to see the Briscoes versus the Gorillas of Destiny in a ladder war. There was not a lot of people there's a lot of wrestling shows going on in the city. There was maybe 500 people, which is, that's still a lot of people. But for Ring of Honor, you kind of expect more for a big weekend. They killed themselves for 500 people in that crowd.
they did not let that stop them from putting on a show.
There's blood.
Yeah, there's one of those like sayings where like you don't punish the people who are there for the people who aren't.
Yes.
And these guys fucking killed it.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Everyone from top to bottom.
There's some crazy stuff. I actually, I really enjoyed this random 6-man lucha match that happened with like Sin Cara Mystica or whatever he called himself now.
Sin Cara.
Yeah, I shamelessly just really loved that. Was just fun. Lucha wrestling is great. And there was a lot of indie shows going on in the city for Toronto for SummerSlam weekend, and we went to one tonight. And it was called NXT TakeOver Toronto 2. Now, we all just watched it, and I'm wondering if people at home listening right now have the same thoughts that we all have from watching it live. So I'm going to straight up go, was this the worst takeover you've ever seen in your entire life? Tough question.
Well, so I was a little disappointed because I was hoping that the Undisputed Era would just clean up the way the prophecy would be fulfilled, and they would clean up the way one Braden Herrington would during SummerSlam weekend. But it was still a good card. It just, the way I described it to Davie, it felt like an Extreme Rules or like a Stomping Ground.
Right.
It was
okay.
a good show, but more like a second tier, like a B-level pay-per-view.
I was this is just my conspiracy theorist hat on. I think WWE are finally being fucked from ticket sales. So a couple of years ago, I tried for tickets for Survivor Series when it was in the city.
Right.
I was in line at the formerly ACC to get tickets. I was in the physical line for when they first went on sale. I was second in line. The only tickets they could offer the first people were singles in the 300s upstairs.
Oh, wow. That's terrible.
I looked on StubHub straight away. Thousands of tickets on there.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel, I might be wrong here. As I said, this is my conspiracy theorist hat on. I feel WWE, a lot of these companies, sell a lot of their tickets to the secondary market to make extra profit.
It's true. And
I think this was the first time where they really got fucked by that. Because there were tickets on StubHub for $5.
Literally $7 American.
Is that actually disgusting for NXT? Because this is an awesome show, and I think out of all the WWE products, deserves to actually have a pricier ticket than that.
Right.
But
this was not sold out.
I mean, Jesse, you
were trying to sell tickets.
You kind of got fucked over by buying tickets originally through Ticketmaster.
Yeah, I bought 2 tickets, and then Davie told me, like, the day later he found, like, 5 together. So I'm like, oh, no problem. I'll just buy a ticket from Davie, and I'll sell the 2 I bought. But that proved very difficult. I ended up giving away the tickets to 2 of my friends who aren't wrestling fans, but they enjoyed the show.
Sure.
So I got that much out of it. But you're right. I was amazed at just the lack of interest in the show.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. This was definitely not full. Like Scotiabank, I've been going to wrestling at the ACC here in Toronto for a long time. This was definitely nowhere near a sold-out show.
And
this was empty.
Toronto's a wrestling town.
Or was it a wrestling town?
And I think it's people try, NXT, SummerSlam's coming to town. They try and... Jesse and I tried for SummerSlam tickets on day of release. We tried for about 5 minutes and went, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll have a look on the day. And I think it makes people apathetic now. I'll watch it. I don't have to be there. Whereas, and it's a shame because I felt it really suffered tonight. And this is the first time I've seen an NXT crowd like that. Toronto, Canada doesn't get a whole load of wrestling.
No.
Toronto gets a Raw and SmackDown every year. Vancouver or Montreal might get something. Doesn't get a bunch.
Yeah.
And the last pay-per-view was Survivor Series a couple of years ago. And I feel after the reaction tonight, I don't think they'd be in a rush to come back because I don't think the crowd was hot enough.
You definitely have to factor into, like, their competition having such lower, like, prices for their shows. Like, MJ and myself were talking about how AEW prices their shows lower. And it's like, why would I pay $600-700 to sit front row at a WWE show, when I can pay $200 and sit the very front row at an AEW show. If you're lucky enough to get one of those tickets, and it's just like I came for TakeOver. Definitely. I don't want to spend an exorbitant amount of money to go to SummerSlam and then have it not be an enjoyable show. Like, despite what I said about this TakeOver feeling like a B-level show, it was still a great show. We still had a great time, and I would rather this TakeOver any day over a SummerSlam.
It makes you wonder if the competition... It makes you wonder if the competition is like... now traveling to these events, right? I think a few years ago the WWE started this where they do all 4 events in the same city.
Yeah.
They want it to be a destination for their fans. Now we're seeing things like Double or Nothing, All In's going to be coming up soon. I think the competition has made it so that fans maybe are willing to travel. Like, I came up from New York.
Right.
I'm looking to see one show. I chose TakeOver. And I have chosen to go to SummerSlam, which it sounds like the SummerSlam ticket's a little hotter. That hurts the TakeOver crowd. Probably hurts all the secondary shows. I think like the ROH show might not have been so well attended either, based on what I think destination has become.
Right? No, because we went to WrestleMania this year. I traveled from Canada to New York, and like there was just people everywhere. And of course, it was my first WrestleMania, so I saw like just crazy amounts of people, literally everywhere. And this whole time this week. In Toronto, I see wrestlers, I see wrestling fans everywhere throughout the city. They didn't show up tonight, I don't think. Like, who showed up tonight? Not the most amount of people that I've seen, especially for a TakeOver. Now, again, we were all at the show in the arena, and we're saying this. We have not watched this back with audio from TV, and I mean, I've been on Twitter a little bit, but some of the reactions are people were like, hey, what's wrong with Toronto? They're really quiet tonight. Yeah. We were.
From where we sat as well, we just saw all those empty seats on the hard cam side, which is it's just disappointing. I'm used to TakeOver being the thing that fucking injects you with energy for the weekend because it's such a rabid crowd.
But I will say, I still thought it still was NXT. It still was that product. Like, people were still here to support, so it's not like they were here to just be negative and stuff. I definitely noticed, like, the last time I was at a TakeOver was in New York, this past WrestleMania whatever. And before that, I was at the TakeOver Toronto. So again, that's years ago. But even then, felt crazy hotter than this event tonight.
I will say also, the booking of this show, and we'll get into that. You guys will get into that?
Yeah.
Confusing.
Definitely.
When you have that first match in Undisputed Era, it doesn't win. It kind of set the tone for like, well, what's going to happen? You had 2 women's matches opposed to 1, so the first one was hot.
I got to say as well, we're normally the positive guys.
Yeah, definitely.
We've got the great show that we talk about every week, but we've been down on it since TakeOver 25. It's been fine. It's been not been bad.
See,
it just hasn't been what we expected, and this TakeOver maybe reflected the last couple of months of TV.
It's like you said, it's just been fine.
And
that's the problem. Where is it? Triple H is, having too much to do on the main roster? Is it just like it feels different? It definitely does feel different, and it's still the better product. I'll watch the 1 hour of NXT over the 37 hours of everything else they put out weekly, and it's showing. Like MJ mentioned with the build, and especially I felt like everyone was a little deflated when you're spending the 4 or 5 weeks leading up to it talking about this prophecy. You put Roddy in a title match. You put Undisputed in a title match.
They got you. That's called hook. That's a hook.
Yeah, and
they
that's
got
just,
you.
It's like, okay, if you wanted to not have them all win the belts, like, why spend a month talking about this prophecy?
A year's prophecy and the year isn't up. But we'll get into it.
Also, belts hold your pants up and titles are won. Yeah,
I apologize, Vince.
So let's talk about NXT TakeOver Toronto 2. But they didn't really call that. They just said TakeOver Toronto.
Yeah.
And that's okay. TakeOver Toronto from 2019. Now, we were too busy having our TakeOver tailgate. We missed the pre-show completely.
Well, we don't read ahead, so we're staying to gimmick.
I never read ahead. So, if you want to hear us talk about the NXT Breakout Tournament match that happened tonight, you can tune in this week on Thursday to our Up Next, because we will be doing what we like to call, after every single NXT TakeOver, we call the Up Next Hangover.
I legitimately don't know anything that happened on the pre-show.
I don't even know what happened tonight. So we will be talking about all of that this Thursday on the show. We'll be talking about all the post stuff. We'll be talking about a lot of stuff that's going on with NXT, maybe turning 2 hours. FS1, that could be a TV show, no longer a WWE Network show. So we're going to be doing all like the little, maybe political kind of post-takeover, again, the hangover edition this Thursday, postwrestling.com. So today, we're talking about NXT TakeOver Toronto. Now, we all predicted that at some form, in some capacity, certain wrestlers, perhaps, would come out in Toronto at the Scotiabank Arena with something to maybe tie in with the Raptors. And, well, right at the beginning of the show, the Street Profits come out dressed in Raptors gear.
Yeah, in the old school, the red and purple.
The purple.
The old school red and purple.
Like the ripped, the logo of like the ripped thing. Yeah. It looked really cool. Montez Ford and his dad, Angelo Dawkins, they're coming out. Now these two, they're on the main roster. Are they on the main roster? They're just two guys that really just cut promos of old people's promos on the main roster and have not wrestled. However, that leads to people thinking that they will drop the NXT titles. Well, here tonight, they're fighting Undisputed Era because the prophecy of the dripping in gold might come true. But did it? We will see. Now, again, we're here at this live. So taking notes, I've learned John Pollock, he comes to wrestling events with a notepad and a pen. And you, David, were like, we need notepads and pens because there's no way you're going to be on your phone trying to type all this stuff. So you had a notepad. I had a notepad. By the first hour of the show, my notepad has gone missing. And you have most of the notes. So we'll kind of go weaving in and out of what we remember from a live show.
I feel a bit like Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano wrestling over that barbed wire at the end of the match, as I do with my notes. I don't know. Some of this is
what are we doing here? I don't know. So Undisputed Era versus the Street Profits here. Now, the story here is the Street Profits. They're the champions. But the Undisputed Era are like, are you though? Are you really the champions? Because we're going to find out tonight. And that's pretty much the story. So the Street Profits are like working on the Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, which Canada loves Kyle O'Reilly, Canada's favorite son. One of Canada's favorite son. So what do you got here on your live notes here?
So the match starts with Kyle O'Reilly and Angelo Dawkins. Bobby tags and Montez tags and hits a huge drop kick. Angelo does a spot where he's on the second rope, whips the pot and hits a double axe handle. We then have Montez versus Kyle O'Reilly. They kind of do a load of flipping and dodging, then kicking each other. Little standoff moment, which was pretty cool. The Street Profits do their leapfrog, where Angelo leapfrogs over Montez.
Yeah, like the world's greatest tag team kind of spot. Yeah, definitely. They love doing that Charlie Haas Shelton stuff.
We have dad versus dad in the ring. So Montez's dad and Kyle's dad are in the ring. Fish has Dawkins in the corner as Kyle... So Fish is kind of pinning Dawkins in the corner as Kyle tags in and starts beating on him. There's a Samoan drop from Fish to Dawkins. Palm strikes from Kyle to Dawkins.
Best palm strikes in the game.
Oh, I love his palm
when
strikes.
He gets on top of people and he's just like, pow, with the palm strikes to the face. I love it.
Montez gets tagged in. He does a nip up. This guy is just super springy. He's jumping all over the place. He's got some real springs in his feet.
Well, he's in Raptors gear, and he's literally jumping like he's trying to dunk into something. Like he's just jumping up and down. That guy, like, when he does his dive to the outside, like the tope, we've seen him do it before, but, like, how does he... There's no... is there springs in the rings?
He gets so high.
Because, like, when you watch wrestling... I've watched wrestling for a long time, and people know how to jump and get height, and usually they use the ropes to springboard. But this guy is literally like jumping from the ring to the outside, and he just gets so much air. I don't understand. Is there something in those shoes? Was it part of the SummerSlam exclusive? The Chucks that you could get? The Bret Hart Chucks, maybe? Because, like, how do you jump that high? I do not understand. He's very, very springy, is what you said? That's what
he's super springy.
Springy is what I'll say. Very, very talented, that Montez Ford, the son of Angelo Dawkins. So there was just like back and forth between the two. Yeah, go for it.
There was a lot of Angelo Dawkins throwing Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish around. I thought he looked quite big.
What, Angelo Dawkins? Yeah, we're not used to seeing him like kind of like the beast, essentially. Like he's like not the biggest guy, but he's bigger than these guys, I would say. Yeah,
compared to guys we've seen him stand next to now on Raw on Monday nights, he's not the biggest guy, but they used him really well in this match, and compared to springy
Montez Ford,
he was definitely the beast of that team. Came off well.
Yeah,
they actually did a really good job at showcasing his amateur wrestling skills, because that's his background. He was an amateur wrestler.
Sure, yeah.
I know at a certain point they had some sort of like shooter gimmick with Chad Gable, and essentially just any other like amateur wrestler there. And it was like really impressive, like, because that's what he was starting with. And they also did a really good job of just making him seem like the big man. I mean, he was a little taller than everybody in the ring,
right?
But he did a lot of like big man power spots, and it looked good. Like, this was the most impressive. Like
Dawkins?
Dawkins. I've ever seen them.
Definitely. Like, everyone was looking forward to this match because this was the match that kind of proved. Now, I actually really like this match. I was just joking that the Street Profits show up on Monday Night Raw and all they do is quote guys from the Attitude Era. Well, in this match, Montez Ford hits the spine buster like Rocky Johnson. He hits the spine buster like The Rock, does the people's elbow in this match. Like, he's doing like everything. But he also, they do this classic move, the Street Profits, where they hit like a super blockbuster thing. And it was like a spine buster, blockbuster off the top combo for, I believe that was only like a 2 count there, which is really great. But if I do recall, because my notes are terrible, that the finish was like just a huge frog splash from Montez Ford onto one of them.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool end. The crowd definitely died at some point in this match, which this is the first match of the show, and this was where I kind of thought, wow, this crowd is not... It doesn't feel like your usual TakeOver crowd. Mm-hmm. They woke up from the superplex that was hit to Ford. Kyle O'Reilly locks in his knee bar. Montez Ford is struggling. You think he's going to tap. It looks like he's in agony. Not only is he in the knee bar, but Bobby Fish climbs to the top, hits a headbutt. You think, oh, he's done. Yeah. He's done. But Angelo manages to break the pin. There's a spear. Followed
Dawkins
by
was spearing everyone. Dawkins was like, Goldberg's on the card this Sunday? No. I got to show people how to do some spears. So.
Kyle O'Reilly tries the lunatic lariat, but doesn't connect, and eats a beautiful fisherman suplex. The Street Profits hit their kind of doomsday device blockbuster where they get one on the shoulders. Yeah. There's actually dueling chants. Like, I would say at the start of the match, the crowd were definitely into Undisputed Era.
Also, they also handed out the red cups. Yeah. Like, throughout the entire Scotiabank, people were just holding up these red cups, and not because every single one was at our TakeOver tailgate, because we also handed out red cups for the Num Num Juice. But it was just really cool to see that in the crowd as well.
And the finish of the match is a spear from Angelo Dawkins to Bobby Fish, and then just one of the most beautiful frog splashes in the business from Montez Ford. I'm pretty sure he touched the cage hanging above the ring.
Wait, what cage?
Springy Ford.
Splashes onto Kyle. 1, 2, 3. The crowd were a bit quiet after this. I think they were shocked. I don't think they saw this coming.
Mm-hmm. I think there was some confusion because I was under the assumption that Kyle tagged Bobby.
Okay.
And that they were going to do some sort of
false finish.
Because I turned to MJ and said, no, keep an eye on Bobby. They're going to do something.
And then it didn't happen.
And it didn't happen.
That's for NXT TV.
Yeah, because I definitely heard like a tag. It might have just been one of them getting hit.
Right.
I was under the assumption that's what they're going to do. You know, they're going to let it, because they made, like you mentioned, they passed out those cups. These guys look like rock stars.
Yeah, they did. Everyone's holding up the Num Num Juice.
Everyone's holding, the Num Num
Juice. It looked cool.
They jumped in the crowd with everybody.
Yeah.
They looked great.
And they retained. So, I mean, this is weird, because here in NXT, we've been doing this show for quite a while. Our tag team division just gets stolen, like, all the time. They're like, oh, you guys are great. You'd be a shame if we were to take you and put you on the main roster and change your name for no reason.
I said a few weeks ago, I think them being on the main roster isn't because they want them to be on Raw. It's because of this FS1 deal.
Okay.
When you've got that show launching on FS1, you want characters that people already know. Mm-hmm. So have your champions on Raw and SmackDown for the time being. Don't wrestle, but get over. And they have been getting over on Raw.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So to me, it actually makes a lot of sense. Have them get popular on the main roster. then be the champs on FS1.
I will say that them winning the title, retaining, was a big shocker to me. I legit thought that the Undisputed Era, not so much maybe the prophecy happening, hashtag the prophecy, but just thought the Undisputed Era would take the titles, and Street Profits winning clean kind of changes the narrative here in the world of NXT, because now it's like, okay, wait, no, we need to treat these guys that they are the proper tag team champions. They're not just the fluke win in that ladder match. They have won now, and we got to continue with them. So, you know what? I kind of agree that having them on Raw kind of makes them maybe a bit more bigger than they seem.
Bigger deal.
Yeah.
MJ.
We've heard John and White talk about their charisma on Raw.
Yeah.
This is a match that I'm curious to watch back on TV, because while the crowd, we're talking about how it didn't pop as much as we may have thought, I'm curious how the charisma came across, because the 4 guys in the ring, red Solo cups in the crowds, they felt like they had a lot coming across. And the cameras may have picked that up better than we saw it in the crowd. I give them props for that.
I thought the match was great, but I think I don't think it's ever going to be in the conversation of the great tag team matches that you think of. And I do put that down to the crowd. I feel like I'm going to be a broken record today, but there was nothing wrong with this match.
That is fair, though. You always have to factor in the crowd. I mention all the time, I was there live for Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Me too.
And
the crowd
was just electric. The only other time I've experienced that firsthand was CM Punk versus John Cena, and it's not these guys' fault that the crowd just wasn't that electric, but it. And you're right, it was a good match. It was the best I've ever seen. Street Profits look, aside from the last match at the last TakeOver, but it definitely did affect what we're going to think of. A week from now, we're not going to talk about the tag match the way we would the series between the Revival and DIY and Authors of Pain.
As a casual NXT viewer, it's interesting if it's the build. These guys are on Raw. I mentioned before, this show felt confusing to somebody. I keep up with NXT Weekly. I listen to the show, the reviews. But with all the things going on behind the scenes, yes, it was expected that they were probably going to lose because they're on Raw. You expect to see them on the main roster.
Yeah.
And it's curious if the build had any impact on that.
I got to say, though, for me, I really liked the end, because everyone going in has been saying
the prophecy
will come true, or at least the prophecy will come true until the main event, and maybe might go off the tracks a bit there. For me, I quite liked, this is, this
kind of threw a monkey wrench in your whole night.
So then the triple threat, we were going, Dunn could win. All of these guys could win this. So I actually quite liked the result, for just get that out the way straight away. The prophecy isn't happening tonight.
Because it still can. 2019 still has a few months left. So the Street Profits retain, and we will see them on FS1 if that is a show that's happening. So the next match, though, it is a match I've been looking forward to the entire. I think this is the match that maybe made me buy my ticket, even though it was the last match announced.
Which you had your ticket for a couple of months.
I already had my ticket for a couple of months, and I was thinking of selling it. I was like, do I want to go? Do I care? But then they announced this match. Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae in a good old-fashioned grudge match in the world of pro wrestling. That's not brought up enough. Grudge match. There's no gimmick to the match. It's just simply a grudge match. There's 2 people that have a grudge, and they need to solve things. And here tonight, these 2 women did just that. Now, we've talked about Candice LeRae, how she's just been Mrs. Johnny Wrestling. And the past little while, she's kind of broken out into her own character finally, and rightfully so. And I would say Io Shirai, my favorite wrestler and the greatest women's wrestler of all time, simply from just even before this match, she was already the greatest. Seeing her new heel persona live in person with the new heel, the black lights, the Titantron with the Japanese Titantron and the weird trap music and everything dark and evil and sinister, I fucking love it. I don't know what it is that this character just brings me in. I just need it more in my life. Io Shirai gets me high. In fact, Io Shirai is the best. I really like this match coming up here. Candice LeRae, I've seen now on the indies a bunch. I've not watched a lot of Io Shirai in her prior to WWE, but her changing just instantly changed the game for me, and this match was really great. In fact, I think this match may have hurt the other women's match later. Now, we're all here live in the crowd, and people were really hot for this match.
think until that final match, this was the hottest the crowd were.
Yeah, because they got into it.
I saw my friends Steph and Kelly. Kelly, the Mario Kart champion. Shout out to Kelly.
We don't need to talk about our Mario Kart.
But Steph is very, very casual. She's been watching wrestling for years.
Sure.
Doesn't follow NXT at all, but came to see the show. And she went, that first women's match, the best match of the night, by far. And I think there's a really strong argument for that. The story is simple and great. The video package hyping it up was awesome. With the music video with Poppy. I was disappointed Poppy didn't play.
You thought Poppy was going to play her out, yeah.
But yeah, let's go into the match.
Yeah, go for it. What do you got for notes for this one?
Candice charges Io Shirai to the outside straight away because she's mad.
Yeah.
Io attempts a sunset flip bomb to the outside, and Io suplexes Candice LeRae onto the announce table, but it does not.
Ooh, yes, that's when the crowd definitely got into this. They're like, "Whoa, these girls are fighting now on the announce table. We don't do that till like the later the hardcore matches." But this wasn't a gimmick match. This was there's anger, there's grudge, there's the grudge.
Candice then eats a baseball drop kick, and Io flips to her feet from a head scissor attempt. There's a lot of Io's showing off still able to show off her high flying ability, but within this heelish persona.
Right, you can't be the genius of the sky and do like the craziest like heels shouldn't be doing the flashy moves because that's what people want to see. So Io Shirai still with that like skill there, she's still doing it. There's a spot in this match where she goes for her tiger feint kick, the 619.
Yeah,
but Candice blocks it. And they go into a scuffle with different moves, and then like literally a few seconds later, she then hits the same move, but to the back of the head. Now, see, if you're a face wrestler, you're going to hit the 619 like a normal person would. But if you're a bad person, you're going to kick someone in the back of the head because it hurts more, because they can get concussed. It could hurt.
Io's working on Candice's neck through the match. She's got her new kind of finisher, which is sort of like the fairy tale ending, the butterfly suplex into the neck breaker, similar to Jericho's old one, but she gets a lot of height with the butterfly before.
We saw her do it on NXT TV.
Exactly, but she didn't quite get it. She misses a drop kick. Io misses a drop kick, and Candice gets Io to the corner now and starts lighting her up with palm strikes and slaps. There's a suplex for a 2 count on Io. And then there's a leg scissors into an octopus on Io, followed by the 619 you mentioned that got caught into a devastating looking neck breaker from Candice LeRae.
Yeah, there was one off the like even the top rope, I think. That was kind of like the Hurricane used to do, but it's like off the top rope, you like swing, and I don't know how that doesn't hurt yourself as well, but that definitely woke the crowd even more up because like, whoa, that looked crazy. A top rope neck breaker. Yeah, it's crazy.
Candice is sat on the top rope and gets drop kicked to the outside. As she's climbing back in, that's when she takes that 619 to the back of the head.
Ouch.
Gets dropped on the apron. There's then an incredible looking not a suicide dive, but a suicide DDT from Candice LeRae to the outside.
Suicide dive DDT. Suicide DDT.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just spiking Io on the outside. Io then hits a nasty looking stomp to the back of Candice's neck. They are not holding back at all in this match.
I was really happy that this match was added to this card, and during the match I was like, I can't believe I'm watching this. This shouldn't be on NXT TV. This should be a TakeOver match, and it felt like one, definitely.
As Candice is in the rope, Io hits a kind of V-trigger, a great knee right to the face, followed by a snap German suplex with a beautiful looking bridge. But still only a 2 count. We have a Meteora from Io Shirai in the corner. Moonsault attempt that gets missed. Ran into the turnbuckle. There's a German suplex attempt. A German suplex attempt off the top rope.
Right.
It's kind of the Ospreay Ibushi spot where they go for the suplex. Io Shirai lands on her feet and Candice LeRae turns around. We then get a Poison Rana. She's been watching Naito in the G1. Candice hits a Poison Rana, a reverse Spike Rana to Io Shirai.
Crazy.
This is where that top rope neck breaker happens.
Gotcha.
This should have been the finish, but it wasn't. It was a 2 count.
Toronto live.
The crowd, the crowd are the hottest. They've been all night. This is awesome chants erupting. We've got a top rope Spanish fly for a 2 count.
There's a...
Yeah, as I'm reading these notes, I'm like, oh yeah, they did that as well.
There was a guy sitting next to us who, when the Spanish fly happened, he was like, that's it. I saw a Spanish fly. He was done. He was like ready to leave.
Bye, guys.
He's like, I just saw a Spanish fly. He's like, did you see that? That was a Spanish fly. These girls just did a Spanish fly. I'm like, yeah, they did. And it was a 2 count.
2 count.
Even the finish.
Mamma Mia chants from the crowd. Palm strikes back and forth. And then Io hits her butterfly neck breaker, followed by the moonsault. And
Candice kicks out.
Candice kicks out.
So Io Shirai has maybe the most beautiful... I mean, Io Shirai is the most beautiful. But she also has the most beautiful moonsault. But Candice LeRae kicks out.
Her moonsault's different. Whereas we were talking about Montez Ford's frog splash, where he gets so much height. You see these beautiful... Charlotte's got a really nice high moonsault.
Yeah.
Io's has speed.
Sure.
She rotates and just crushes
you
them
fast.
And I don't think anyone's kicked out from her moonsault.
They have not.
I might be wrong.
Until Candice LeRae.
And the crowd exploded. NXT chants, this is awesome. And then Io Shirai traps Candice LeRae in a leg scissors wrapping around the neck. Mm-hmm. She chokes out Candice. Candice passes out. This was a fucking great match.
Yeah, this was one of the best women's matches I have seen in quite a long time. In fact, I dared you to tell me a women's match that was better than this in, I don't know, this year. Honestly, I thought this was really fantastic. I'm not saying that because I love Io Shirai that much, but I do love Io Shirai that much. I just thought this had a little bit of everything. You kind of had, like I said, I like a good old-fashioned grudge match. You needed a little bit of a storyline to sell me a fight. They did that because I watch NXT TV every week, and they have built this story up perfectly. For me, as a viewer, you see these two people, they have an argument, they need to settle this. We'll put them in a match. And then they do that, but then they also, deliver. And not only Io Shirai turning to the Black Lotus character that she kind of has going on here, but it's also Candice LeRae. Now, Candice LeRae lost this match, but did she? Because really, this kind of helps her. This makes her not the TV star that I see, but now Candice TakeOver. This makes me think, hey, wait a second, why shouldn't we have more than one women's match? Just because it's not for a women's championship doesn't mean that the women don't deserve a match on TakeOver. In fact, I think this might set the precedent for future TakeOvers where, you know what, sure, 5 matches on the card, 3 of them can be the guys, 2 of them can be the girls. We don't need to have all the guys all the time because these ladies may have had my favorite match of the night, to be completely honest.
I would say I completely agree with you. I think this story has warranted more than just one match.
Yep.
And Candice losing as clean as she did kind of makes me think maybe they aren't going that way. I think we all were pretty sure in our preview show that Io would win by dodgy means, and I think there should have been some shenanigans in this because I do want to see them have a bit of a series, and I think it's a good way to extend it. But come on, I can't really fault the match.
It makes Io look like such a badass. So it makes Candice look strong too. Io hits the move. We've seen her hit the moonsault. It's beautiful. It's such a great moonsault. Candice kicked out. So Io's like, all right, well, I guess I got to do what I got to do, and puts her in this Venus flytrap type thing, and makes her tap out or makes her pass out, and it's like, okay, then it's still the character is still evolving there. So I think it was just such a fantastic little spot here. I will say I really like this match.
This was match of the night for me, and touching on what you said, character evolution. January 2018, WWE signed Candice LeRae.
Sure.
And I haven't seen her.
No.
I saw Candice Gargano for months.
And with the black lipstick.
And every now and then, there was little glimpses of Candice LeRae. The Candice LeRae who took that super kick,
right?
With thumbtacks.
She's been a side character.
The Candice LeRae who was tearing it up everywhere. But it was just brief little glimpses of her. Tonight, I saw Candice LeRae.
Right, yeah.
And it was great. It was great seeing her go out there and wrestle because she's one of the more talented women they've had on that roster.
Definitely.
And there's been an influx of other women that kind of been pushed ahead of her, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you, Davie. It should have been somewhat of a shit finish, so you can go back to that match. But match of the night for me. I was happy that that the people who aren't you and I and Davie and all the guys here who know Candice LeRae and who knows what she can do now know who she is.
If you didn't know, now you know.
Now you know.
Jesse.
I think it should be noted, Io has new gear.
Yes, I noticed.
Yeah.
She's been shopping with Seth Rollins, I think.
Yeah, well, I liked it. It's like this sort of like...
Whoa, Io's cool.
like this like sort of a racing uniform kind of thing.
You're right, yeah. Right. Kill Bill, almost.
Yeah, exactly,
I would say Kill Bill, yeah.
Yeah, look to me like she's like black with like this neon green line.
She's in the, what is it, Fox 5? What's the... Fox 5 Force?
Yeah.
5 Fox Force? Yeah, that's sure.
Looked more to me like a futuristic gang leader or something.
F-Zero. Akira.
Sure.
Like all that cool, leather.
Also,
black leather.
I don't know what it means for the feud going forward, but she didn't, you're talking about shenanigans, she didn't cheat, Io didn't cheat, but she did leave the hold on after.
Longer.
This is true, yeah.
She had the hold on, and then at the end of the match, I don't know if it had already gone to a commercial on the broadcast, but I could see her in the ring. She was like motioning to Candice to shoo away, and she's saying, go away,
get out of here.
So she's working on developing that heel character.
Yeah.
She didn't cheat, she's definitely all in with it.
No, she's bad.
Yeah.
She's bad. MJ, what do you got to say about this?
We'll get to the finish of the show.
Right.
But if Johnny TakeOver, Johnny Wrestling, is no longer Johnny NXT, Candice LeRae picks up the mantle. And as far as character development, what if she breaks? And now she has to get dark.
Oh, the black lipstick.
And she's not tied to the babyface Johnny anymore. She's her own person.
No, I gotta see.
The goal was to make her own person tonight. Let everybody know who she is. That she can work. She can go. She's just as good as anybody they brought in. Mission accomplished.
Right.
And
I think they
match of the night for me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. I need to again. We were all there. I need to go watch this one particularly back. Definitely.
Right, so after this match, I went to get some, I guess, breakfast, because I hadn't eaten all day.
Nice,
so
what'd you get?
I got some chicken tenders.
I got chicken tenders, too. They weren't that great.
I got chicken tenders as well. Yeah,
soft.
Not the best.
Yeah.
Scotiabank Arena, chicken tenders.
Honestly,
do not recommend.
Yeah, not great.
But yeah, does someone want to run through this Riddle Dane segment?
Oh, yeah. So that was, you were getting chicken tenders, and Matt Riddle... He comes through the crowd. He does his bro walk, as we do in the BDE here. And he grabs a microphone, and he says, hey, it's TakeOver, and I'm here for a fight. So Killian...
Calls out Goldberg.
As we all wish he called out Goldberg. He calls out, and I quote, get your hairy ass out here, Killian Dane. And I was a little offended. As a hairy man.
Is that why you got up and started walking towards the ring? I was very confused. Jesse and I were very confused as to where you were going.
If I was wearing a Tool shirt, people would have thought I was Killian Dane, but I am in fact not. Killian Dane then all of a sudden was also in the crowd, but the opposite. How weird is that? That it's like he knew that Matt Riddle was going to call him out from the opposite end of the arena, and Killian Dane was just hanging out in the crowd the other way, and was like, oh, okay, cool. And then they just started fighting, and I will say, the story of the night is the crowd just don't care about much because they started fighting, and the crowd was like, okay, cool. Well, we don't know who you are.
Do any of you care about this? Because I want to see Matt Riddle wrestle in the main event. Wrestle like
this is where I got a little upset. So they play they show the not the video package, but the lineup for the next match. When you see like, hey, this is what's next, and it showed the triple threat for the North American title: Velveteen Dream, Roderick Strong, and Pete Dunne. It's a triple threat match. We know this is on the card. We all paid our money to go see this. But then after showing us that, Matt Riddle grabs a microphone. My first thing is, oh my goodness, are they adding Matt Riddle to this match? That would be crazy. No, he's just here to fight Killian Dane. For no reason, really.
Yeah, the crowd popped huge when
Riddle showed up.
Yeah. But it should be stated, like, Riddle didn't just come out with his music. He walked out through the crowd and got the mic. It was very much... like, I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah, it was cool.
And the crowd popped because it was out of
the crowd
unexpected, and everyone's into Riddle. And then Dane came.
And then it died.
Dane's here, and they started fighting. It was like, oh, cool, they're fighting, and then...
died. Just silence. Like, it's like no one knew who Killian Dane was, I
don't think anyone really cares about Killian Dane.
Yeah.
Not yet. And I don't know about you, but I don't... I don't really want to see Matt Riddle brawling up the ramp. I like Matt Riddle because he brings something different, you know? Mm-hmm. I like to see him in the ring, grappling, stiff strikes. Just brawling with Killian Dane that could be, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and
it wasn't
Harley Race, all right?
Yeah, it wasn't. And then so they brawl up the ramp. They're fighting. Matt Riddle has to be separate. They have to be separated. All these jobber cops, as we call them here, the jobber cops come out and they're separating. So Riddle starts hitting V triggers and ripcord knees to these like jobber people. I don't know. Then Killian Dane's hitting things. I don't know. It was just weird.
I just want to see the match. I think you're all sleeping on Killian Dane. That guy is awesome.
I don't have anything against Killian Dane. It's just look at the position you're put in. And what do you expect us to do? Like, especially, I watch NXT every single week, and I still don't really give a fuck about him yet. So imagine the person who just bought this ticket because their kid likes wrestling. They're like, who is this?
But this is more to get Matt Riddle on the show.
Right, yeah.
It's
I love Matt
people
Riddle.
who've paid money and want to see Matt Riddle.
Sure.
And it's furthering the angle that will have a match down the line.
I definitely want to see
I think once
more.
they eventually have the match, I think it's going to be really good. Killian Dane is great, and I think he'll be a really good opponent for Matt Riddle. And I think they've worked together a bunch as well in the UK. So I think the actual match will be good. But yeah, you're right. It goes to the crowd again, just being checked out.
You mentioned that there was a family in front of us, a kid and his parents. Kid loved all our jokes. You know, shout out to him because we told him to listen.
Shout out to the little kid. Yeah,
shout out to the little kid.
New listener.
Yeah, that kid learned some new words tonight.
Especially for me, I know that. Yeah.
and I imagine the kid is familiar with NXT.
Right.
Parents, probably not so much.
His dad had an Undisputed Era hat, though. Oh, no, shirt. Sorry.
Yeah, he had a Chicago Sox hat, which I wanted to say, like, but we're a Cubs family.
Oh, gotcha.
Back in my house.
Yeah, real,
just kidding.
real
I hate baseball. But, it's interesting. Like, I want to know what they think, because they for sure had no idea what was going on. The kid... Maybe, because I would imagine he's more invested in, like, a Johnny Gargano, Velveteen, like, the main storylines.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Davie, I think you're right. I think when they have a legit actual match, it will be good. But it's weird for me that on a roster where you have, like, Kushida, Trevor Lee, like, all these new guys that they just brought in that they still...
Kona Reeves as
well. That they still want to push... like a Killian Dane, like it feels weird because I don't think there's a spot for him here. I feel like they didn't want to put him in the UK show, and so they kind of just left him here for now. And
so he's chilling.
Yeah, because you have like your Keith Lees, your Punishment Martinez, I forget his other name, Archer guy, who like they both fit like that big guy role.
Sure,
you can only have so many big guys.
The thing is, why rush it?
Well, they're not.
Why rush it? We assume we've just seen Johnny Gargano's final match. He's had a year and a half of stellar NXT matches, and now we're going, what's next for him? Like, it's great to see he's moving on, but you worry. Why rush these guys? As soon as you put someone in the NXT title match, there's nowhere to go after that. You're going to be the champion, you're going to have your run, and then you're going to move on. So... yeah, have Riddle and Dane go for it for a while. Have Kushida not on takeovers right now, because their time will come, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm interested in seeing where it goes. It's just weird that it was put in... because we got that weird Riddle thing with Cassius Ohno, like a few takeovers, like probably like a year ago or now, I don't know. And it was just like randomly there for no reason. It was just like, okay, well, that was...
they've done it with Dream. Dream on the TakeOver 25, he didn't have a match, and he has a segment. It's just so the crowd can see these stars.
I want to see more of Matt Riddle, definitely, in the near future in NXT. That's definitely... he's a guy I'm watching, especially if you've been on his Twitter when he just like, I will beat the shit out of you. He's so fun.
Seth Rollins, take note. This is
cool. Yeah.
Matt Riddle is what the kids want. That's how you do Twitter.
I mean, yes and no.
Going back to the Killian Dane thing, it's kind of weird seeing Matt Riddle with Killian Dane on NXT when Matt Riddle in real life is feuding with
Chris Jericho or everyone.
Bill Goldberg
WCW,
trying to get a Brock Lesnar match, but yeah, he's Killian Dane segment on TakeOver.
Yeah, definitely. I'm interested in more Matt Riddle. Then we go to the next match.
I don't think we actually mentioned the end of the segment.
Oh, what happened at the end of the segment?
The big dive off the stage.
Right. Oh, yes.
That's kind of the big angle.
Yeah.
And, like, Riddle was going for a rear naked choke, and Dane was like slamming him into the
Tron, yeah.
And then he just dived off the stage and threw a crash
through a load of tables.
Right, yeah. There was there's some setup
gear
there.
Dane killed Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle is dead.
Yeah.
And you look like a security guard got taken with them.
Jobber cops.
That's right. Yeah, no, that was quite cool.
Jobber cops. Yeah, the jobber cops are just taking.
It was probably JC or Chris.
Yeah.
Well, I think they were local guys, weren't they?
Nikos Rikos.
On the dance floor.
Greek wrestling.
I love how Scrump and MJ laughed there. Like, oh yeah,
they don't know.
You have no idea.
I'm from here. You guys have seen my Canada tattoo.
Then we go to our next matchup, the North American Championship of NXT. Velveteen Dream versus Roderick Strong versus... I'm already blanking on
Pete Dunne,
who was already in this match. Pete Dunne is in this match. Now, we made some predictions this week on upNXT about entrances because we're usually spot on this show. I'll toot my own horn here. I usually am like, hey, this guy's going to come out dressed like this guy's going to come out dressed like this, and he's going to do this. I didn't have any predictions, and you had some predictions, and I think you were
pretty spot on everything.
You were pretty 2 for 2, I would say.
I think so.
We said that Velveteen Dream, in some shape or form, will come out representing the King of the North, the Toronto Raptors. Now, the Street Profits came out in the Raptors gear, but literally, Velveteen Dream came out with the Toronto Raptors cheerleaders. They came out with the Raptors logo on the Titantron. It was a whole thing. Kawhi Leonard was there. It was great.
Not anymore.
First, there were Mounties.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. There was Mounties.
Like some Dudley Do-Right thing.
There was super. Yeah. There was.
So let's get this out of the way. We did predict. What would he come out? Both he and Johnny Gargano. That was our thing. How are they going to come out?
Yeah.
And it's not a spoiler. Johnny Gargano came out as Wolverine.
Yes.
All right, Wolverine, the one famous Canadian superhero. I for sure thought that Velveteen Dream was going to come out as like Canada's next big like superhero, which was Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
Shout out Matt Ross.
Brendan Fraser was Dudley Do-Right in the live action. Just letting you know that. Letting you know that.
Well,
Just letting you know that. That was the thing.
The Mountie costume he came out in was cool, but if he would have came out looking like he was about to fight Imhotep.
Yeah, exactly. He came out dressed as the King of the North, essentially. You called it.
This was, it was an easy pop for the crowd. I would say... The entrances were probably on the lower end of takeovers.
They were just cheerleaders. They were
fine.
And then he's like, I'm Velvet. And then he came out in his Seinfeld puffy shirt, and it was like, yeah, I'm just me. I'm just chilling. He didn't come out dressed as Kawhi. He didn't come out dressed.
He was in red and white. That was
all right. Yeah, he came out with the Mounties. He came out with the cheerleaders. I still enjoyed it. It was cool, and it got like. I don't want to say cheap pop, but it was a cheap pop. You put up the Toronto Raptors logo on anything in the city right now, and people will scream, "Yeah, go Raptors!" That's what Velveteen Dream did.
Coming from America, I wanted the national anthem.
They played some. Yeah, our anthem's better than your anthem.
I agree.
Yeah,
well, I know PCO was in town, so they should have just had to come out with Velveteen. What else is he doing?
So Velveteen Dream, Roderick Strong, and Pete Dunne for the North American Championship. Now, if you've been following NXT TV, it's kind of Roderick Strong who was in line for the North American title. Pete Dunne has been kind of pushed into this match, and a lot of people were very okay with it, and I was very okay with it. I noticed right off the bat that Velveteen Dream is a huge Bret Hart fan. He does everything Bret Hart style. He's doing the poses early on in the match, the classic Bret Hart stance, the Hitman stance. He's doing the top elbow off the top very early on in this match, a la Bret Hart. There's a spot where there's a huge, I think it was Roddy who hits like a huge Uranagi on the outside, but not just on the outside, but like one guy onto the other guy. Looked very, very cool. Now, I don't know what it is with British wrestlers, but they really love fucking your fingers up. We
just hate.
You hate hands. They don't like the Brits don't like your hands. Yeah. So if you ever see a British person, watch your hands, cover them. They will break them. They will snap them. That is what they do, and that is what Pete Dunne was doing in quite this. There's different spots in this match where he's not just got one guy's hand. He's got the other guy's hand. He's making them clap. He's making them do all sorts of weird gang-related hand signs and all sorts of things, and then he makes them snap. He got the whole Scotiabank Arena to go shh. And then he does
they were doing that already.
Yeah. Yeah, they were doing a lot of that. There was also a lot of German suplexes in this match from both Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne just loves countering German suplexes. Now, I am not a wrestler, but I watch enough wrestling. If I were to wrestle Pete Dunne, I know to never German suplex him because he always lands on his feet. He's like a damn cat, this Pete Dunne. Now, Roderick Strong, his finish is the end of Heartache. break, where he puts you in like a vertical suplex, but he throws you forward and then pops his knees out, and you land on with your back onto the knees, and then he usually pins you. Now, Pete Dunne counters that move into his own move, which he calls the X-Plex. And I thought this spot was really cool, considering if you watch them enough and you know them enough that their moves are very similar. The X-Plex is where he throws you forward just like it. That was a really cool spot. Now, there was a spot where all three men were up on a top rope, and this got a "you fucked up" chant, which I don't know how it came across on TV, but I definitely caught how they fucked up, I guess. There's supposed to be two of them there, and Pete Dunne has Velveteen's arm, and he's basically trying to break the fingers, but Roddy basically throws both of them, sending them flying, and Pete was supposed to grab the fingers of Dream, but he kind of didn't have his arm, so Dream just jumps. Dream just is like, "Oh, you got me," and he falls with them. It looked fine. I'm sure the camera's pretty cut like 9,000 different times to make it look like it didn't do that, but it still looked really cool. Creative spot, honestly. There's a bunch of there's a triangle from Pete Dunne, which is then countered into a power bomb. There's again lots of finger breaking here, which is really cool. But I'm trying to remember now from my notes here, but the finish was Velveteen Dream getting the victory over, I believe, Roderick Strong. But he didn't hit he eventually hit his Dream DDT, but he hits also like the Dream Valley Driver like a million times. So
he goes for there's a few really cool moments. Dream hits a kind of coast to coast elbow drop to the corner, which was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, that's when was it Dunne had Roddy in a triangle in the corner? And so Dunne is lying on his shoulders, like on the back of his shoulder, is to like a standing Roddy in the corner, and Dream gets on the
other side,
and does like a coast-to-coast elbow drop.
He's a big Shane McMahon fan, obviously.
Yeah, Roddy locks in the stronghold, the Boston Crab, to both of them at the same time at one point.
Cool, yeah.
Velveteen goes for a double DVD, but they both wriggle out, and at that point, Dunne grabs both of their hands and does the finger snap to both of them at the same time. There's then the bitter end to Roddy, a 1, a 2, Dream breaks it up, then gets put into an Indian death lock, which Roddy breaks up. Roddy locks in the stronghold again, which Dream breaks up. Then Roddy breaks up and hits an end of heartache, and then there's a springboard elbow for the pin from Dream. So it's everyone doing their shit on everyone, and Dream gets the upper hand.
Dream hits his purple Rainmaker, which we turned into a delicious shot. Delicious shot at our TakeOver tailgate. The purple Rainmaker, which kind of breaks up the pin and then gets the pin from doing so. So Velveteen Dream retains the North American Championship, and I think I was the most upset person in this entire arena because
you were cheering for Roddy.
I was I still have my voice, and I think I just used all my gas in the tank just cheering for Roderick Strong in this match.
Roddy was definitely like the most impressive in this match.
He always is.
You mentioned, he always is.
It's the workhorse.
And there was a spot he was doing where he was putting people in the Boston Crab, which was like, is that a Jericho thing?
See, the Lion Tamer, bro.
Then he straight up does the Lion Tamer, which
he does
that was cool. And I was just, I guess I get why they put Pete Dunne. They just want a little bit more, oomph to the match. But I'm kind of confused. Is he sticking around?
I find Pete Dunne the most interesting person in WWE. I think he is. He's one of the very few people, apart from say Brock Lesnar, who isn't overexposed. But you put him on any brand, he feels like a big deal. I think he's had one match on Raw, and the crowd were loud for him. You can put him on one match in 205 Live, and people will tune in to watch that match. You have him go to NXT UK, and people are interested. But he's never overexposed. They put him on maybe one takeover a year, and people are always interested in Pete Dunne. I think he's got a great gig at the moment. He has his family in the UK. He's not living in the US full time. But hey, Pete, do you want to come over and have a really hot match at one of the hottest shows? Yeah, sure, I'll do that.
Pete Dunne.
I find him, and I think he's possibly quite happy being in that position right now, rather than moving his whole family to the States, being on Raw and being in catering every week. I think he's really interesting.
No, actually, I quite enjoy Pete Dunne. I don't watch a lot of the UK stuff, and he quite frankly hasn't been on that show, because that's probably a reason why they he was brought up on Raw over a year ago. When everyone was like, "Hey, now's his time. He's going to be brought up." It wasn't. That's not what happened. But he still continues to have these great matches. The last time we saw him, in a big stage like this, was TakeOver New York, and a lot of people were loving that match with Walter. And then he just kind of disappears, and you're like, "Okay, well, why isn't this guy doing anything?" And he does this match. He's just literally thrown into this match. The reason there wasn't one, but he was just added. And this was a really good match, but. Is he staying in NXT, or is he just gonna kind of linger around and fight?
I'm happy with him doing this, to be honest. Yeah. Just disappear for a bit, work the indies, come back, have another fucking awesome match in a few months.
Yeah.
Getting back to the finish of the match real quick, there was the spot where Dream comes off the top, he breaks up the pin. I feel like that's another moment, and I'm learning this as I go to more live events where on camera you probably don't see him getting ready to do it.
Exactly.
So it feels so much more like, oh, Roddy's about to get the win.
Right.
And boom, he comes
out of nowhere.
No, yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There were some really nice moments between Dream and Dunne in this. I think what's great about this triple threat is all three characters are so different. Roddy is the jerk jock from a fraternity.
That's
really.
So spot on.
Dream is this eccentric
art
student.
Yeah, he's the art kid.
And then you've got Pete Dunne, who's
the Brit.
Just the
foreign exchange student.
Just the brute, who there was this beautiful look where Dream kind of does his pose and Dunne just looks at him like, what the fuck are you doing? Right. And then just hits him.
Forearm.
And I thought that dynamic made the match really interesting.
Yeah. That gets back to what NXT is, though. It's a developmental product to develop personalities, and these three guys have very defined personalities, and I think that adds to the match quality, it adds to the story. The other thing that I think is interesting, I think I turned to Scrump at this point, the angle slam.
Yes.
And he uses the lion tamer at one point.
Right, yeah.
I like the fact that they're using, we'll call them legends, even though they're the guys we grew up watching. I like that they're using those moves because for somebody tuning in that may not know who Roderick Strong is, you know the move. So, okay, this guy does those kind of moves. This guy,
he's good.
Adds some familiarity.
Sure, yeah.
And I think that adds a little bit.
I was sad Roddy didn't win this match. I think this was the time to take the strap off Dream, so then he can kind of maybe go into the main event level. But I thought Roddy should have had it. Even with they teased the Undisputed Era breaking up this year, which I did not want at all. But imagine Roddy walks out the only guy with the title tonight. That would have been really funny.
Jesse.
Oh, I just don't think.
You don't like Roderick Strong?
Nah, I don't see it, man. Not a main event player.
All right.
No, I think
B+ at best.
I like Dream with the North American title. I think Dream. I like because, as Davie was saying, as we're all sort of realizing with more and more discomfort, what is even the point of getting sent up to the main roster now? There's just
you don't want to.
It's saturation point. They can't use them all.
I'd rather stay on this show and have fun, creative outlet where I get to do my craft and have fun. And yeah, I'm not getting paid maybe a lot as much as these people, but you're having fun more so, and you're getting a cool spot. I don't know. It just seems like that.
Right, and because Velveteen Dream is still quite young,
yes,
I would like to see them do with the North American title what sort of New Japan did with Shinsuke Nakamura in the IC title.
Okay,
just make that his title and make him make the title. Have him a good long run.
He's already making that title.
Yeah, he doesn't need to go anywhere, so I'm happy with it.
I mean, this is the WWE we're talking about, but surely if they are moving to FS1, the pay structure has to change.
Definitely.
So is that to me, that's the only incentive for moving up.
I don't know, guys.
I think a Johnny Gargano would look at the main roster and be, where is my place there? In my opinion, he should be the guy. We all know he won't. We all know he won't. Exactly. Whereas you go, okay, I can stay here. I can be the guy on this third brand, which will be on broadcast TV. And now you may even be making similar sort of money as well.
I've been watching this trailer that's been out this week for the new WWE video game. And, you have people like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Roman Reigns and Velveteen Dream, which makes an appearance. I'm not saying that because he's in a commercial for a video game, he's being called up. It's just they had to put someone from NXT in this commercial, and he was the guy they chose. So it shows that maybe he will be not the face of NXT, but definitely a major character, especially if they make this a show that's not just a network show, but an actual show on FS1, the rumors that have been saying.
I definitely agree with what Jesse was saying as far as make this title mean something by having him hold on to it for as long as he did. Similar to what they did with Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne held that title for 16 years or something like that, and it made it feel important. Like when Walter beat him, like you knew Walter was a big deal.
Yeah.
But when he beat him for that belt, it was like
damn,
whoa. And I think I don't know if it was with MJ or with Davie, where we talked about how Daniel Bryan was doing this whole shtick where I got this, major announcement I'm going to make. It seems like they dropped that, but personally, what I was hoping for was send him to NXT because. There's the whole...
Send everyone.
Because NXT is probably moving to FS1. Let's talk now as if it's announced, it's happening.
Sure.
NXT's moving to FS1, and you need stars. As much as we love Adam Cole, Gargano, Velveteen...
They gotta stay.
Yeah, they need to stay there to be established as those guys.
Right.
And I feel like Daniel Bryan would have easily been able to put into that show just because he has a similar style to all those guys. He's a smaller guy, and he has a bigger name. I know who Daniel Bryan is, but to some people, that's Brie Bella's husband with the beard. And that would bring in some people. And I think if they are doing this long run with Velveteen, it would have been nice to have seen someone like Bryan put him over because those two seem like they could make that title feel more important than the main title. Even.
I think NXT has enough guys that they can continue to make names, but you just can't keep doing the thing where we watch these two guys called the Viking whatever the fuck, and then they do some crazy match at TakeOver New York with Aleister Black and Ricochet, and Aleister Black and Ricochet do their send off, they do their final bow for NXT, and we all cheer them and go, wow, what a crazy tag team match, that was nuts. They get called up, and then literally the week after, these Viking guys now are called up, and we're just robbed of these major key characters that are just literally taken from us, and now we're forced to watch people like Nikos Ricos, and because we don't have other fillers, we're literally you have to, because we just don't have these characters. When now I watch Monday Night Raw, which I don't, and I don't even see these guys because they're hanging out in catering because they're not even booked. So it's like, why are you stealing all these dudes and making them do absolute jack shit when they could actually be huge part of a show that is now this NXT that could be something different? I just think things definitely need to change here. But I really did like this triple threat. I will say, you said it was like a weird bringing these three different characters kind of together, and that's literally kind of what it felt. It felt like that group project where everyone just doesn't get along, but it was still good. I wouldn't say it was one of the best TakeOver matches I've ever seen. It was fantastic, but it just wasn't at the caliber of things I'm used to seeing. But I still enjoy this match quite often.
MJ, one more thing, and then we'll move on.
Great three-way adds to the confusion of the show.
Yeah, I guess so.
True.
It's the theme of the show for me.
Yeah, let's talk about some more confusion going into this match.
I might have skipped over it, or I might have not got up to it, but let's talk about it now. Austin Theory.
Yes.
Seen front row.
Okay, so NXT TakeOver, they do this thing where when it's a big deal, they cut to you in the crowd. They go, Kushida! We got Kushida. And people were like, oh, damn, that guy's from New Japan. That guy's fucking lit. That guy's sick. We go to Keith Lee. Damn, that guy was great. That guy's amazing. We go to all sorts of people. We've been doing this for quite a while. Let's cut to Austin Theory. And that's the sound the crowd made tonight. We did a show on Evolve. We watched this show. I know who Austin Theory is, but when you put him not in his gear, in some, I don't know, dress shirt or whatever he's wearing, and no name marquee, dude, how am I supposed to know who you are when it doesn't even say your name? Because I literally was like, who, I know that's is that Randy Orton's kid? I don't know, who is that? Who is that guy?
I don't think this was an NXT call-up. I think this is hyping... I think it's hyping Evolve.
Right.
Which...
I think
Evolve will take the place of what NXT was.
Yes, definitely.
Similar to... We saw Walter and Tyler Bate.
Yeah, they were there.
That's hyping NXT UK. I think they're just... I don't think there's any...
sprinkling some guys
I don't
around.
think there's any new signings that we don't know about to NXT.
That being said, though...
just showing...
Austin Theory will probably main event takeovers in 2 years or something along those lines.
Well,
I'm not shitting on Austin Theory.
He's only 16 or whatever. I'm pretty sure at some point down the line he will.
I've watched some of his stuff. It's cool, but literally, I watch a lot of wrestling. And when you show some schmuck in the front row without a name key, how am I supposed to know who you are?
It is possible they name keyed him on the broadcast.
Sure.
Live.
Exactly.
Crickets.
Yeah. No one knew who he was. Even the guy beside him was like, hey, bro, can you hold this beer for me? Like, hold on, I got to tie my shoe. And they're like, no, you're on camera now. We can't do that. Like, literally, there was people beside him like, oh, I'm on camera. Hey, what's going on? It's like, no. We're trying to show Austin Theory here. It's like,
he should have had like that. The belt.
Title. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. Let's say this is to promote Evolve. Let him wear the belt.
It was just funny. I didn't realize it was him.
We're talking about NXT like it's already on FS1.
Yeah,
let's see. And this is a podcast for another day. But at the end, there's a lot going on there. I think that they're probably internally trying to scramble and figure out, all right, what's Evolve's role going to be? Do we want to key him as Evolve champion? Do we not?
Sure,
want to
yeah.
He's just
waiting. He's just waiting till they go, okay, cool. Now you're in this spot here. You're the takeover spot now. Like, he's good. Don't get it twisted. It was just funny that they did
I know is if Evolve is getting put on the network, that means Eddie Kingston is in Evolve. Oh. And if I get to see Eddie Kingston on the WWE network, just like we were there for that
Progress show,
and Eddie Kingston.
Me and Scrump, during the intermission of Progress on Thursday night, we're just having a conversation at the back of the bar of this venue because of the intermission. And then Jim Smallman goes, hey, guys, you got 5 minutes. And then the second half of the show starting. We're like, cool. We're having a conversation. We're talking to some people. Then all of a sudden, a fight breaks out right beside us, literally right beside us at the bar. But when we look at the two people fighting, it's Eddie Kingston and Trent Seven. And I'm pretty sure that Eddie Kingston, being the troll that he is, literally was annoying Trent Seven because he flipped over his merch table and Trent Seven looks at him and realizes Eddie Kingston has a smirk on his face, but then also is like, fuck, you just dumped all my merch on the, I don't want to do, I want to, wait, no, I don't want to do this right now. And he's like, no, mate, we're doing it right now. And he's like, fuck. And then they just started fighting and everyone in the arena was like, oh my God, this is a fight. And it wasn't. It was, it turned into the match, but it was pretty cool. So I do want to see some interesting characters come on.
Shout out Eddie Kingston.
Shout out Eddie Kingston.
Friend of the show.
Apparently listens to Post Wrestling.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't listen to us. No. It's fine. Who does? Let's go to our next match. I feel like we talked enough about Evolve.
The women's title match. It's Mia Yim against Shayna Baszler. There's really not a lot at the beginning of this match. They're just feeling each other out.
What about their entrance here? Because Mia Yim came out with the Wu-Tang Clan. She came out with like a whole like gang of people doing her entrance. I love Mia Yim's theme song, the HBIC. It's a cool theme. We've been talking about this week by week. The Mia Yim thing is kind of not clicking. Maybe, possibly, maybe. Who knows? It kind of showed tonight. I feel like not a lot of people knew because people were chanting Shayna Baszler and they were booing her, as she should. She's the heel and you should boo her heel work. A few rows in front of us started chanting for Mia Yim, except they weren't chanting for Mia Yim. They were chanting for Mia Kim because they didn't even know who she was. So they literally were like, oh, I could see them like discussing like, when you're trying to fill someone in on something like, yeah, they do, and they're like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, Mia Kim, and they're like, yeah, all right, just cheer for her, and it's like, okay, because this is where the crowd really died. I am a fan of Shayna Baszler, but this one definitely put me a little asleep, I would say.
Yeah, I'm a fan of both of them, but this just didn't click tonight.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily find too much about this. Maybe it's in like my weird mindset where I'm like, you are not beating Shayna Baszler. You are definitely not the one who's going to take this reign. It just felt like a house show match or a TV kind of feud here. I don't know. Especially like again, I'm going to sound like an asshole, but we are used to having one women's match on a takeover card, and we just had a women's match, the match prior. And it literally was my favorite match of the night. It stole the show for me. And then we go to the actual women's championship, and it's putting me to sleep.
Yeah, it
felt like this should be like the number. Like it should be roles reversed here. Am I alone here, or am I a dick? Like this did not click with me.
This match to me was very reminiscent of the AJ Styles Kevin Owens feud, in which there are two good workers who never really worked. And, it's like, okay, these guys can for sure put on a good match. And there was just something that didn't click.
Maybe it's because they live together.
I mean, you would think there'd be more chemistry, but they're just... I think the crowd were just checked out as well.
Definitely.
I think they were very cold for Mia Yim.
Yeah.
Let's get into the actual match. As I said, to start with, nothing really happens until Shayna gets mad and puts Mia Yim's hand in between the post and the steps and just starts kicking at it. Oh, sorry.
It was Mia Yim.
Doing that too.
It was. I found that it was Mia Yim. Kind of like the story, if you've been following, is Mia Yim took out the horsewomen in very illegal ways. Actually, someone should call the OPP on Mia Yim because like she's just been beating people up in parking lots and locker rooms. It's weird. But then the gimmick here is she's stealing Shayna's bullying tactics because she's tired of the bully here in NXT. So she's doing putting the hand in between the steps. We had Mia Yim do the classic Shayna elbow thing that I still don't know how that doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But I learned this SummerSlam weekend it's very easy to do. The Shayna Baszler elbow thing. You know what I'm talking about? Where you
it's where the hand's on the mat and the elbow's sticking out and you just stomp on the forearm.
So painful. Scrump showed me. He messed up the first time. And it's still hurting. But it was like they definitely were trying for a story in the match. It's just not a story.
They were, I think they felt the crowd were dead because then they pulled out a really impressive. It was code blue, Mia Yim's code red off the top rope, and that woke up the crowd. They were like, "Oh, that was cool," and then they went back to sleep. You had Shayna gets her in the Karafuda clutch, but Mia sort of headbutts out of the way. That's when we had the stomp to the arm. And then Shayna submits Mia Yim in a very similar way to Io Shirai earlier with the leg scissor choke.
Yeah, so just like that. I'm not like trying to be super negative. I just really was not into this match. I didn't really care about it, but the finish is just interesting to me because we literally just saw a match that ended in a very similar way. So if you ask me as a fan, I'm like, okay, cool. So now I'm going to see those two fight because they've just done the same finish on two different people. So, I don't know. Jesse, what do you think?
It was odd that they booked such a similar finish for both women's matches. Although, as MJ has pointed out sometimes before, that watching it on the network, on camera, could be different. So maybe some nuances we didn't pick up. And ultimately what it comes down to is the crowd didn't buy into Mia Yim as a credible challenger.
No.
And that's all it was. And they knew a long main event was coming, so they were down. Having said all that, even though the finish was similar to the other women's match, I really enjoyed the finish. I really enjoyed the sequence at the end with the mat work, and I enjoyed the psychology because Yim was working over Baszler's arm and hand the whole time, and Baszler couldn't get the Karafuda clutch applied properly. Every time she did it, Yim would either headbutt her or hyperextend the arm, and so Baszler ends up switching to going to basically a leg hold, choking her with her thigh, which I thought was really cool. It shows...
she's an actual fighter.
Yeah, which shows Yim's intelligence for going after Baszler's base weapon, but then it shows that Baszler is just that much better because she can figure out another way to beat you.
Shayna Baszler for the children. Right? Wu-Tang?
I guess now.
I just... going into this feud, the Mia Yim thing just wasn't clicking for me. And this match is really...
It would have been a great NXT TV match.
That's what
I don't think anyone buys Mia Yim as champion, but I think there was, for a lot of people, just thinking... Shayna's time feels done.
Long.
So, but...
Io Shirai, baby.
No, I think Dakota Kai might... They still need to finish that story.
Yes,
Dakota Kai's back.
Yes.
And I think people could get behind Dakota Kai. You give it to Dakota Kai.
This is what I want. I want somehow, some way, you get shit. I'm not a fan of people dropping the title and then it's vacated, because that's just cheap. That's just cheap. Like, that's lazy. I need somehow Shane... In fact, it would have been fine if Mia somehow got the title and then instantly loses it to Io, because Io doesn't necessarily need the title, but you put it on Io right now, and I think you got to rock it. I think you got something that's crazy hot.
I think you can do that with Dakota Kai as a transition. I think people are going to be way more behind her.
I don't know, man. If people don't know Mia Yim, they don't know Dakota Kai.
No, I think that bully story got over.
I think you're looking into it more.
I think her style is more fan-friendly, that people will get into
Team
it.
Kick.
I think we do need to move away from Shayna and to Io, but I don't think a heel versus heel is going to work at this point.
Shayna turns face.
I definitely think, kind of touching on like what you were saying, Davie, is that there are options. Like, obviously, you can go to Shayna versus Io. You can even do Shayna versus Candice versus Io if you want to just switch it up. But there's a lot of women in that division.
Yeah, of course.
That you have Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green.
Yeah. VXT.
VXT. I know Tegan Knox just came back from injury. My favorite.
Yeah, and there's a lot.
So there's a lot of women you can build, like Bianca Belair. Do you remember there used to be a woman?
Oh yeah, I forgot about Bianca Belair. Yeah,
they'll heat her back up.
There's a thing. Like it's not even just like we're making it sound like they're women division. It's like no, they do that with a lot of the dudes. Like there's so many just wrestlers that are like that. But I will say like you could just. If I were like to you, like, hey, you don't watch wrestling, but I got an extra ticket to this takeover thing, just come watch it with me. It'll be great. And you're like, yeah, all right. And then you watch this and you're like, hey, this Io Shirai person and Candice LeRae, they like tore it down and the crowd went crazy for it. It's kind of funny because I know, David, we talk about Gargano and Almas, but a lot of people don't remember that there was also Gargano versus Almas before the Gargano versus Almas. Remember that? It was like an opening match or like a second match? Yeah. It was just a throwaway match. Yeah. It was a throwaway takeover match that was like in the beginning of the card. And that left the impression on everyone. They were like, whoa, did you see that? That was like a 10-minute little cracker that they had. I feel like that just happened tonight for Io Shirai and Candice LeRae, where we will be talking about at our next TakeOver tailgate about Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae and chill. Because like... just keep booking them, I guess. I just feel like there's a little hot pocket of this going on right now, and I would watch more of it.
Bringing it back to the women's titles match, Mia Yim, dare I say Mia Kim, her in-ring just wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
So in addition to the character maybe not being believable, which I think the character is a lot to work with, I've likened her to a more... street version of Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is the rapper after the rappers made money.
Yeah.
Mia is the rapper before when she's like actually talking about...
to be clear, Sasha Banks is when a rapper gets money. And they're like... It's like Jay-Z like rapping about like his kids and stuff. You're like, you're still good, but like, whatever. But Mia Yim's still like in the grind.
She has the credibility.
But no, the Mia Yim thing seems forced. Mia Yim seems like, look, I love Wu-Tang Clan, but is that going to be my gimmick? Because I listen to Wu-Tang Clan? Now I'm going to be like, protect your neck. Protect your neck. Cream. With. That's all I'm about. Like, no, it's like, it's the start, but you got to, we were talking about evolution before, and that the character, that's not a lot of legs for it to, where are you going to go next? She's going to turn into Sasha Banks next. No, we already got a Sasha Banks, and she does it quite well. I don't know if Mia Yim's on that level. But, again, developmental. So, I don't know. Honestly, this match just did not deliver for me. I
hope that Mia gets another chance to have a match because there's, like you mentioned, there's the possibility that you have Gargano versus Almost One versus, which is okay. But then you go to their second match.
Yeah, but not with Mia Yim.
And it becomes, one of the best matches ever.
Sure.
Conversely, you could have AJ Styles versus Nakamura at WrestleMania.
Ooh, yeah, I don't want that.
And then, you think, all right, well, their second match will be even better. And then it kind of shits the bed again.
Right.
Like, I don't want people to be turned off from Mia because her and Shayna just don't have that chemistry. Some wrestlers just don't have that chemistry together. And I definitely think there's something there with her.
I just find it funny that this was the women's title match. Like, listen, titles are props. Vince Russo said so. Titles are props, and I just found that this wasn't a title match, and my match that was for the title was actually Io Shirai and Candice LeRae. Let's just imagine that Io Shirai is the champion.
Well, let's move on to the title match, the NXT title match. Adam Cole defending his NXT championship against Johnny Gargano in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Or some people would say 3 stages of hell.
The first fall being a traditional wrestling match, the second fall a street fight, and the third fall...
To be determined.
To be determined.
We don't know. Unless you're in the arena and you looked up. Just saying.
Yeah, which like...
How cheeky do they think they are?
We've all been to enough wrestling shows where if there's a cage there, you know it.
Yeah.
Them putting a tarp over it...
doesn't hide a cage.
They might as well have had a sign that said, hey, look at me.
But it did hide
some things.
The surprise.
It did hide some things. Let's go into this.
So the first fall starts with very traditional wrestling, wrist locks, headlocks, both feeling each other out, trying to out-wrestle each other. There's a very early Gargano escape attempt, followed by a final shot. Sorry, last shot or final shot? I always get it wrong. By a last shot attempt. They both catch each other's feet and do the kind of spot Tanahashi does a lot, where you're holding each other's leg and you put it down,
Yes.
No, they don't actually catch each other's legs. They just they both lifted their own legs and stood on one leg looking at each other. And then
I found, listen, we were at TakeOver New York with the 2 out of 3 falls, the first time when Gargano fought Cole in New York, WrestleMania weekend. And I'll straight up and say it's literally one of my favorite matches I've ever seen. I was there live. I loved it live. I watched it back. It's still one of my favorite matches literally ever in professional wrestling. And then they killed it with the second one. So when they do the third one now, I actually really liked the beginning of this match because it's in wrestling you see when guys know each other, they know each other's moves. But like these guys literally were like knowing each other's moves. They were blocking the blocks to the blocks. They were countering the counters to the counters of the counter within the counter. So when you're talking about them dancing on each other's legs, it's because like one of them was going to super kick, but then they blocked the super kick, and then he was blocking that super kick with another. It was like really meta.
I mean, we mentioned a few weeks ago when Adam Cole chose the fall being a wrestling match. Yeah. We go, how weird is it hearing the word wrestling on WWE TV? Mm-hmm. And they really did. The beginning of this match was a wrestling match, and I really enjoyed it.
You got to think too, like, of course, like that aspect of their game is going to be up when their teacher is Shawn Michaels. When Shawn Michaels is like personally helping you hone your craft. And, like, it shows.
He had Shawn Michaels. Oh, we didn't even... He had Shawn Michaels on his gear. He always puts Shawn Michaels within his gear.
Let's go into Johnny Wrestling's gear.
You called it Wolverine.
I called it... He was Wolverine.
Listen, here in Canada, guys, we don't have a lot of superheroes. Oh, like, sure, we created Superman, but you Americans love to take him.
I'm sorry, we had this conversation as well. I am... Despite what my Canadian Maple Leaf tattoo may lead you to believe, I'm not actually Canadian.
Yes.
I'm Mexican.
Okay.
And
what Mexican superheroes are there?
The Mexican superheroes
Rey Mysterio.
that I have are my father, shout out Alberto Sr., Rey Mysterio Jr.
That's it.
And like Black Panther, just because like that's the closest that I have to like, you know.
What about the Taco Bell dog? That guy was lit.
The Taco Bell dog?
Yeah.
I used to yell at my aunt's dog because it wouldn't talk like the Taco Bell dog. But it was cool seeing Johnny come out as Wolverine because that was something we joked about, and he did it. Like
you literally called it.
I DM'd him when we were sorting out the video. I said, you know what would be really cool in Canada?
Hold on, we are talking about Johnny Gargano, friend of the show.
Yes,
right?
That's right. Yeah. We gotta call him that. Yes.
So I don't know if any of you guys noticed. We'll get back to the match, but on his wrists there was little claws.
There were
little claws sticking out, which that was cute. Yeah. And I mentioned to Jesse,
you're a nerd,
that his shout out Marvel Comics. Yeah. A lot of his gear tells different stories.
Sure.
He had when he was in Phoenix, you know, he had the Phoenix gear, rising from the ashes, and I wondered to Jesse, I was like, do you think he's dressed as Wolverine because like a little Logan inspired? The movie Logan is just like. He's been beaten down. He's on his way out.
Yeah, you're right.
And he comes to terms with that.
Sure.
And like maybe that wasn't the story that he meant to tell, but I kind of got that from the end.
You're probably on
point.
Yeah.
Like spoilers, he loses and he's just kind of in the ring, defeated, much like Logan. Logan knows he's going to die.
Sure.
And he accepts it.
It's hard being on top sometimes. Yeah. I do. You did call it. You did call the Wolverine. He came out in the yellow with the blue and the Gargano on the back of the tights and the Wolverine font. It was really cool, and even the little claws and everything. But he also always adds a little Shawn Michaels into his gear. He had like for New York, he had the Iron Man, and it had the Shawn Michaels heartbreak thing mixed in with the Iron Man in his kick pads. And in this, I noticed in his trunks had like the little Shawn Michaels again, like usually the little heart with the heartbreak thing. So
how adorable is it that when Triple H wrestles, he has like the NXT patch on his vest for his like kids, right? And then when his kids wrestle, like they're now doing that for them. That's just that's adorable.
It's cute. I thought this was really cool. What did Adam Cole dress up at? I mean, Johnny Gargano comes out as a member of Alpha Flight, but Adam Cole just comes out just Adam Cole.
He's just Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah, baby.
So going into how well each other they both know each other. Adam Cole tries the first Panama City Sunrise attempt, but Johnny Gargano moves out the way, and then he goes to the second rope to try it himself. But he goes to jump and knows that Adam Cole is going to go for the super kick, so he fakes it. He sends Adam Cole to the outside and hits like a mid-rope baseball slide drop kick to Adam Cole. Gargano hits a neck breaker to Cole on the apron, the hardest part of the ring. I'm pretty sure I saw Beth say that at that point.
You literally were like, look at Beth.
She's saying it. She's saying it.
She's telling Nigel and Mauro right now. It's the hardest part of the ring.
We have a knee bar from Gargano, followed by a DDT apron attempt, but this gets reversed into a German, like a wheelbarrow German to the apron from like Adam Cole.
Everything hurts more on the apron, too. Not just like on the inside of it, but if you're outside, slamming the dude onto it. It was like the Snowplex, really. It's like the wheelbarrow thing. It looked really cool.
Cole then gets Gargano in a leg scissor headlock. He saw both Baszler and Shirai do that earlier and think, hey, that seems to work tonight. Let's try that. You get forearms from the two of them back and forth. Gargano hits his roll-through kick, his slingshot DDT that gets caught into a Sushi Goroshi attempt.
Greatest move.
That gets reversed into a Falcon Arrow. Gargano puts Cole into the corner, goes for the 10 punches in the corner, but gets kicked. Johnny Gargano jumps from the apron and stomps on the arm of Adam Cole.
Baby.
There's a figure 4 from Gargano. Woo chants going all around Scotiabank Arena. Cole then lifts in another deadlift wheelbarrow German suplex, followed by a pump kick, an enziguri, and a knee kick to Johnny Gargano. He then attempts the Panama City Sunrise again, but gets reversed by Gargano into like Hangman Page's kind of reverse pile driver. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. Deadeye?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's when
dangerous move.
It's when you're hanging over the shoulders, so your head is facing the ground like a pile driver, but you're on the back of
really cool.
the guy. Yeah,
really sweet.
Looks great. This is where my notes change over.
At this point, it was a wrestling match. It legit was what they sold us on. I'm not one for the fight forever chance. I think it's really overplayed and overdone. But honestly, like legit, I'm not being that guy. But these are two dudes I would literally be like, yeah, fight forever. Legit. Just, I'll probably, if you were to come back to Toronto and be like, yeah, Cole and Gargano are the match. Okay, I'm just going to go. Because, like, I'll watch you fight forever.
Gargano hits his slingshot DDT and gets caught by a Sushi Goroshi, which is hit this time.
Best move ever.
1, 2, kick out. At this point, Adam Cole goes for the chair. The heel in him, as the ref's distracted, he hits Gargano with a low blow.
Right in the balls.
But only a 2 count. The ref then tries to stop Cole from using the chair, gets in his face. What the fuck are you doing, Adam Cole? He's saying. Johnny Gargano then just grabs the chair and right in front of the ref smashes Adam Cole with it. He knows he's going to lose the fall, but he's weakening Adam Cole.
He don't care.
And the crowd do not like this one bit.
As a huge Johnny Gargano fan, it broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that.
It's like in New Japan when the good guys do not so nice things. The crowd really doesn't like it. The crowd was like, the crowd was like, we understand what you're doing here, Johnny, but it hurt my heart, my rebel heart, just a tiny little bit.
Jesse.
So I was dismayed that the Toronto fans, as did the New York fans, they were all cheering for that douchebag Adam Cole.
Of course.
That reprobate.
Yeah.
His heinous actions. They weren't cheering for the good guy, Johnny Gargano.
Me and you were, just FYI.
Yeah,
we sat beside each other in New York, and everyone in our section were not with us for Johnny Gargano. And then when he won, everyone was like, okay, you two were right. You guys, he deserved that. Yeah, he deserved it. And this time, we were the ones standing up cheering Johnny Wrestling, and everyone was
that 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And I was confident that Johnny would turn him again. But this was strange, because... So Johnny hits him with the chair, and
DQ.
People boo, as you mentioned, because they were kind of booing a lot of what he was doing, like Cole. But as Davie will go into the second fall, they were cheering the more and more the violent things that Johnny was doing. Now, that wasn't illegal at that point because it was a street fight.
The symbiote.
So the more that Johnny was like acting like the bad guy, the fans liked it because they like Cole the bad guy. So that was sort of weird.
Wrestling fans are weird.
I like Johnny when he's just a white meat babyface. He was so
Me too.
fire.
I like Peter Parker.
White meat babyface, and I think they lost it, and that's really sad. But one thing I do like is that for once the babyface was smart.
Yeah.
Because so often in wrestling, the heel is cunning,
yeah.
The babyface is an idiot with muscles who just charges after you, right? So Johnny's like, what, I'll give up the first fall just because I hit him with his chair.
Because I'll hurt you.
So at least... He showed some brains.
I will say that Johnny Wrestling, Adam Cole said on NXT at a few weeks ago, he said that when I beat you, you can no longer use the word Johnny Wrestling because I will beat you in a wrestling match. Johnny got DQ'd. Technically, he can't call himself Johnny Wrestling.
MJ.
There were two things I did not like about the first full finish here. One, like Jesse said, white meat babyface using a chair. It just felt uncomfortable, even though it did play into the story in the second fall. The second was that when the second fall starts and you're about to get into it, he hits him with the chair a few times. He does not go for a pinfall.
That was my problem. I think if you're losing the first fall by using a chair, you should win the second fall pretty much straight away. You should lay in those chair shots.
I felt like the second fall was pretty quick, wasn't it?
It went on a fair bit.
Yeah.
It ran around the whole.
By the time, by the time the second fall finished, you didn't think that was as a result of Gargano using the chair at the end of the first fall, which makes Gargano look a bit dumb.
Yeah, Scrump, what do you have to say?
Well, I don't know if it's. I don't mean to sound like Jim Cornette.
Sure.
But, like, what the fuck was that? If you're beating him down with, and it happens like later in the other, there was plenty of times where just pin him. You can pin him,
right?
But instead of like setting up these weird spots, and I get it, it is an hour-long match, and you need to keep people entertained. But like Davie said, you just hit him with this chair. Should have put him in the Gargano escape, made him tap right there, and go directly into the next thing. Especially with as much weapons that were involved in the third match.
Right.
You could have just done that.
So this second fall is now a street fight because Johnny Gargano picked this because we've seen him in street fights. He's good at them. Sometimes. Or is he? And then, like you said, they ran around the whole arena here. They came near our section. They were doing jumps and all sorts of...
Yeah, Gargano sends Cole to the outside, hits him with a suicide dive. They start making their way through the crowd. Johnny's grabbing, the souvenir soda cups from fans and smashing it over. Yeah.
How much did it cost you, Canadian?
Like $1 million. Smacking Adam Cole's head with it. They're fighting in the aisle. Johnny Gargano jumps off one of the kind of banister things up the aisle, then takes a selfie from a fan.
Some guy was trying to take a picture and Johnny saw it, so he grabbed the phone and took a selfie with the fan mid-match. I need to see this photo.
Gargano hits a super kick on the outside. He dives over a barricade onto Adam Cole. The crowd are pretty hot here. NXT chants start filling the arena. Johnny Gargano clears the announce table to put Adam Cole through it.
Yeah, but what move was he trying to do?
Well, he goes for the Fairy Tale ending, which is obviously Tommaso Ciampa's move, which is a callback to their first match in New York because Adam Cole hits this on the table in that match. But Adam Cole struggles out, goes for the Fairy Tale ending himself, but Johnny Gargano backdrops him right through the table.
Everyone was chanting tables right before this happened, and then the table spot happened, and I felt like the crowd went dead. And I was like, guys, you literally were asking for tables. They do it, and you're like, all right, cool.
MJ.
We were about to get a lot more tables in this match.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, I guess.
The crowd felt it.
Yeah.
Throughout, and as we're talking about this now, I'm playing it back in my head. You mentioned the Wolverine thing. You mentioned the feeling that he may have thought, I'm on my last life here. I'm going to go down with
Swing for it, Johnny.
Yeah, and
swing away, Johnny.
I'm thinking about the way that he approached the end of the first fall, the way he fought in the second fall. Kind of like, I'm going to throw everything against the wall to call back to Ciampa, who, for all intents and purposes in the story, has fallen.
Sure.
It definitely, now that I'm thinking about it more, and these guys are great. And
they're very good storytelling. Yeah, like Gargano is so meta. Like, he literally, there's little things that are done purposely, like, in his things that make me go, okay, you're actually really good at this wrestling thing. Like, what you're doing is not just, you're not doing moves for just doing moves. You're doing moves because you're telling a story. And I feel like he's literally one of the best actors because he's a good storyteller, and I just always love his matches. Like, I could watch these two wrestle all night, no problem.
It's always a sign of how great a rivalry, a feud, a match is when we can nitpick things.
Sure.
But we are quite literally nitpicking.
Yeah.
Because they are that good and they've done such a great job over the course of the rivalry.
Yeah.
So, as you said, Johnny's grabbing the tables. He grabs one, he grabs two. There are then Johnny Tables chants from the arena. He then grabs a chair. I think one guy tried a Johnny Chairs chant. Didn't really work. You got a running knee from Adam Cole. He then sets up a chair and hits the Sushi Goroshi. Actually, no, this was the Ushi Goroshi, the classic version.
The greatest wrestling move in the history of wrestling.
Gargano picks Cole up for a long dart attempt, but Cole wiggles out, hits the Panama City. but Gargano gets out of the way, then gets the long dart, throwing Adam Cole face first into a chair, locks in the Gargano escape. Jesse?
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah. He's mad that Gargano is being not such a good guy.
No, Street Fight is fine. That was a hard bump to take.
Getting the lawn dart from the other end of the ring all the way into a chair that's in the middle, like stacked in the middle of the turnbuckle, looked like really cool, actually. And then Cole taps out.
Yeah, Cole taps out. That's the end of the second fall. As we all thought, one fall apiece.
It's tied. It's time to go to hell.
Yes. And one of the things I noticed was we're shitting on the crowd a lot in this show.
Yeah.
Considering we had seen the cage hanging about above the show all night, I thought we reacted pretty well to it.
We did.
The surprise of the weapons around the cage.
The cage lowers as the tarp is taken off. It is revealed that William Regal is one sick fuck because he lined the cage with fire extinguishers, kendo sticks, brass knuckles, chairs,
barbed
wire surrounds the top of the cage because the announcer has filled us in that there will be no escaping the cage and the only way to win is pinfall or submission. So therefore there's barbed wire on the top of it. There's a random ladder that's just chilling on the top of the cage this whole time. I don't know.
The only thing missing was Mitch the Plant. This was very reminiscent of the Ambrose Asylum.
This was a hard House of Horrors match almost. Like
Scrump.
Weird.
What a mark that William Regal is. He goes to one GCW show and now he's trying to throw William Regal's
the House of Horrors.
Break.
Yeah.
Davey, it's funny you call this, you said this was the Asylum, because I called this the Purveyor of Violence match.
Yeah, like
the John Moxley influence.
Yeah, it was very strange. Listen, I said on the show that, like, jokingly, that I thought the third fall would be a triple threat with Matt Riddle. And I said that this week on the show. Then a listener instantly listened in, and he tweeted us, and I'm blanking on your name, but you know who you are. He said, listen, I love your idea, but the third fall should be Ciampa inserting himself into the match. And I'm like, yeah, that's really cool, but he's clearly not ready to wrestle. But part of me was like, oh, that could be like a really big spot there for him to enter the match. However, that wasn't it. And instead we got this like weird weapon cage match thing. I'm not a fan of cage matches.
Triple H did like a post interview, like some sort of conference thing. I saw Ryan Satin like tweet about it where he said they didn't refer to this match as a 3 stages of hell.
Right.
Because they wanted it to, like, stick out and kind of be its own thing.
It was not. It was a 3 stages of hell.
Yeah, it wasn't. Like, that, especially, you should have just announced that it was going to be a steel cage.
With crazy weapons.
And it also, like, the purpose of a steel cage is keep everybody out. And, like, going into this match, seeing that cage, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, the rest of Undisputed Era is going to run in. And
they weren't anywhere. They didn't come out at all.
Yeah, some sort of fuckery, and then William Regal will go, well, aha, I knew that was going to happen. Here's a steel cage, and never.
Well, they're fighting inside a cage with weapons. If you're asking what the fall is, we found out. It's a cage with weapons. Barbed wire, all that shit.
So they're going hard at each other, fists back and forth. There's a pump kick from Adam Cole, followed by super kick. Johnny Gargano hits a lariat. Then they both grab some lightsabers and some kendo sticks and have a lightsaber.
I was shouting lightsabers at you. I was literally in his ear being like, it's a lightsaber duel. It's a lightsaber. It's Kylo Ren.
Was I in the bathroom because I didn't hear Duel of the Fates start to play and lightsabers go
It was pretty sweet. They were like just having a lightsaber duel with kendo sticks.
They both hit a super kick to each other and both fall down. Finally, the crowd are awake. They are loud at this point.
Yes.
Johnny then climbs to the top to go for the ladder. Adam Cole grabs. There's like a top rope hurricanrana.
Yeah.
There's a DIY kick from Gargano. Johnny Gargano then sets a table up in the corner. Actually, sets 2 tables up in the corner. Cole stops him with a chair. He hits a backstabber with the kendo stick wrapped around the neck of Gargano.
Look cool.
Only a 2 count. Adam Cole then sets up the 2 chairs next to each other to form a kind of table. Johnny gets the fire extinguisher and blasts it in Cole's face.
And hits
crazy. The DDT from the top. through the chairs to Adam Cole. This looked nasty.
This looks so nasty. It looks like just two guys literally falling through two chairs. Like there was this Evolve show we watched a little while ago that was on the WWE Network where this one wrestler does a suicide dive, but the girl moves, so she just flies through these chairs. It was an insane spot. This was very reminiscent, but it was less chairs and it was off the top rope. It just looked like, if anything tonight, these guys are hurting from this spot.
Yeah. Gargano starts beating him with the kendo stick. He goes for the sledgehammer, but Cole stops him.
We didn't talk about that. Papa Triple H. We want to talk about Papa Triple H. You can say this was William Regal's doing all along, but we all know Triple H was like, hey, put this sledgehammer right at the top, right in the center, right there, so everyone knows.
We get it, Johnny. Your dads are Triple H and Sean.
Gargano hits a sunset powerbomb for a 2 count. Gargano grabs the sledgehammer and Cole is at the top and just throws the ladder at Johnny Gargano.
Scary,
just to make this clear, this ladder is on top of the cage and Cole throws it off the top of the cage at Gargano but misses. And then what was cool here was the ladder. Adam Cole's been trying since the first fall to hit the Panama Sunrise. And he hasn't hit it. This time, the ladder acted as the distraction. So, as soon as Gargano dodged the ladder, he hits him with the Panama City Sunrise. But only gets a 2 count, then climbs the ladder and hits it again. And obviously, jumping off a ladder means it hurts way, way more. But not enough, as this is still a 2 count. Johnny kick out indeed. We have the last shot attempt from Adam Cole, but Gargano just dies before he even gets to him, so he's just fainted in the ring. So then he does
some real sick shit.
So Adam Cole,
Adam Cole, we saw this in their last 2 matches where Gargano is just like, I can't even stay up to get hit by your last shot. So instead, Adam Cole leans him on a chair and he's like, you're going to stay here, you motherfucker. You're gonna and then goes for it there, which is pretty nasty.
And Gargano moves out the way and Cole's knee just goes flying.
He delivers the last shot to a chair.
We should also mention
the last chair.
There is so many weapons on the floor, in the ring, on the canvas.
Yeah.
So when they're doing these moves and they're doing these flips and coming off the top, God bless them.
You would land on a chair. Yeah, definitely.
Gargano then locks in the STF with the kendo stick. This is how he beat Ciampa in their first match. He's got the kendo stick right across the neck and the face and just yanking back. He's actually been working on Cole's knee throughout the whole match, and this is just doing extra damage to that. And the dirty Adam Cole bites his thumb.
What a crook. What an evil, vile human being. How do you bite another? You should get checked. Gargano should get checked. Adam Cole could have rabies or something. Getting bit by another man does not sound fun.
More Moxley influence.
More Moxley influence, indeed.
Gargano, as we're in Canada, this is just a destroyer. Hits the destroyer off the second rope.
Well, not just, it was top rope destroyer.
Yeah.
He's going to need one of those dries to quench his thirst after that match.
All right, so I had an issue with this spot. It was so awesome. And then, Davie?
What happened? It was a 2 count.
And then Johnny Gargano finds a little bag lying in the ring, empties it, and there are brass knuckles, there are wire cutters. Jesse.
We should point out at this point that the 10-year-old was very disappointed there were no thumbtacks.
Oh, the crowd actually got really mad at this.
If by the 10-year-old you mean everybody.
Everyone else, the crowd was mad there was no thumbtacks.
The air was sucked out of that place, don't do that. Don't put
a bag.
The one thing synonymous with a bag of thumbtacks there, and then have it dumped out.
Because realistically, those wire cutters could have just been stuck in the cage.
I think people confused as well. Because it wasn't quite obvious. It's just a bag of this melange of accessories. There's
bolt cutters and brass knuckles. So
wait, thumbtacks. Wait, no, that's not. What is that? Is that a
weird? But he climbs it now.
So he climbs the cage and cuts away at the barbed wire that he wants to wrap around, the brass knuckles to try and attack. But Adam Cole climbs to the other corner and is going for that barbed wire. Johnny Gargano chases him. They're both at the top fighting over this piece of barbed wire. Both of them fall through the 2 tables, and Adam Cole rolls over and pins Johnny Gargano 1, 2, 3, and it remains your champion.
Adam Cole is undisputed. He is the NXT champion. He is Adam Wrestling now. He said it. He would no longer let Johnny Wrestling use that name. Adam Cole has beat him. But from falling off the top of a cage through some tables. So, I don't know. I believe it as a finish.
The spot looked cool. My problem is it's really hard not to make this look contrived. And it always does. The two people falling off the cage. And also, I didn't really feel they let the moment breathe because suddenly you realise...
It happened.
The music hit, and I didn't even realize there was a pinfall attempt.
Oh, okay, wow, yeah. I mean, I saw him roll over, and I was like, okay, he's going to kick out. He's Johnny Kick Out. He's got to kick out, and not just because I support him, but then he didn't kick. Guys, he didn't kick out. He didn't kick out, and then I was like, oh, all right, cool. I didn't even get to see one last shot. Not even one shot.
Yeah, MJ and I were talking about this, and we were both saying the same thing. And maybe this is our fault. Being part of this generation, but like everyone, we wanted to film what we knew was going to be a crazy stunt of the guys falling through the table, so we did. So every in the arena's got their cameras out, their phones out.
Yeah,
they film the stunt. They go through the table. Everyone goes, "Oh, that's crazy!" Oh, everyone's yelling, and then the second they stop and sort of settle down, it's like 3, and it's over. Like, what? And it's like, "Oh, cool, that's over." And then it dawned on me, "Oh, Johnny lost."
Yeah,
I wasn't feeling
Johnny lost,
and so we were talking about like what could they do differently. We just think maybe. And again, this is nitpicking, I guess, but it did kind of feel awkward. Maybe just let it breathe a little bit. Like, if Cole had rolled away a little bit of one first impact and then crawled over, a la Shawn Michaels in the first Hell in the Cell match, where he just crawls over and puts one hand on him like a little, you know what.
I still liked it, but I just thought... I thought Gargano was going to kick out, and then we'd see like a final, like I don't know, like another destroyer, and then like a last shot to like really put the nail in the coffin.
It protects Johnny. They both just fell. And then
well, they didn't just fell. Like he was trying to put the barbed wire in his mouth and stuff.
Weird too, to be honest.
Again, because this is how meta Johnny is. Again, once you give into that evil, that anger, that darkness, it'll only hurt you in the end. It won't make you win.
Evil's one thing, but with a sledgehammer right there, why are you taking out wire cutters to cut off barbed wire? Just hit him in the head with a hammer and you pin him.
Or like use the pliers.
Yeah, like I know
pull out his nose ring or something.
But this strained credulity for me. Like, is that you're going to win a fight?
Yeah.
The spot was breathtaking. It was phenomenal.
It was cool, yeah.
They were way up high. It probably came across great on television. That said, I think I'm the only Adam Cole fan in this room. I am wearing an Undisputed Era hat.
Get out.
He fought a better fight.
All right.
He tapped when it was appropriate to tap so that he could preserve himself for the final fall.
Sure, he's smart.
Johnny caused himself his own fall. And at the end of the whole fight, it was Adam Cole who realized, I can roll over and get Johnny in count 3 here.
What a snake.
Johnny didn't lose as much as I thought. Adam Cole just did the little things to win. They all went all out.
Now, I loved their first match in New York, the 2 out of 3 falls. I think it's literally one of the best matches WWE's ever put out. And I actually really loved their rematch at TakeOver 25. I think that is also one of the best matches I've ever seen. This one, I can't say I would put in the same tier of those matches. I was there live, and I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I would say the last fall is what hurt it for me. Maybe because I'm just we're kind of a similar crowd of wrestling. I'm there for the wrestling match. I'm not there for the barbed wire and the things. I'm not 12 anymore. Like, I don't need to kind of do that shit. I'm not saying, the stuff in AEW that we've been seeing, the violent stuff is not bad. I'm just saying that's not why I watch NXT. I watch because the last time I've watched Gargano and Cole is literally because they tear it down with technical storytelling, and this one is what that lacked. It's like they wanted to please the WWE fans. It's like, oh, you're all in town for SummerSlam, eh? Okay, cool. We're doing a cage with weapons and throwing you off the top. And
I thought they were quite inventive with it, though.
Yeah, of course.
I thought they did stuff we haven't always seen, and I'm the same. I much prefer seeing a good wrestling match.
Yeah.
But I thought with the toys they had, I thought it was fun. Mm-hmm. But I agree. I prefer their other matches.
I talked about this with David, like, as soon as we left the arena, where it was weird that this is, and I think they've maybe done it once before. Everybody retained.
Yeah,
everybody retained their titles.
Wow, yeah.
So there wasn't really any surprises, and we were all staring like at the entrance ramp, waiting for something big to happen because everybody retained. So the status quo has pretty much just stayed the same. So, as a wrestling fan, you're kind of expecting...
Waiting for something.
Something's going to happen.
Ciampa.
Someone's going to... Yeah, Ciampa. Something's going to happen. Someone's going to come out.
It didn't happen. Undisputed Era came out.
I believe, Undisputed Era came out, celebrated with Adam Cole. I believe that's where the broadcast ended. It faded to black with a shot of Adam Cole with the Undisputed Era. After NXT went off the air...
Oh, by the way, Gargano did not move. He was in that spot, in the tables, the rubber, he's just laying there. And then it looks like they did cut away. And then Candice LeRae, she comes down to the ring to help her man out. She's there. She's helping him. He gets up. It kind of felt like it was the swan song of NXT for Johnny TakeOver. Like, it felt like a real goodbye. But the crowd tonight really were not super Johnny fans. So it was like,
we're conditioned. We know the thing now. You leave the guy in the ring.
Yeah.
And let them get up slowly.
Let it breathe.
The crowd know, okay, this is probably it. And they give the respect.
Thank you, Johnny Chance.
They were respectful.
So they walked up the ramp, and William Regal comes out right at the Gorilla, right out the front. He hugs them. They do a goodbye. They all leave. The lights come on and say, cool, see you for SummerSlam. So that was it. So it's like, is that the end of Johnny Gargano in NXT? Because if it is... I am shook where NXT kind of goes because he's actually the guy. I don't know where would you do Johnny 205, Johnny Raw, Johnny SD Live,
SmackDown. There we go.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Well, you'll have plenty of time to talk about the future for Johnny Gargano in future podcasts. But if you look at the past, I think if this was his final NXT match, I think it is rather fitting because. It was at the last TakeOver in Toronto where he and Ciampa won the tag titles, which I believe was his first title win.
Yep.
And so for his last match to be in Toronto too is kind of nice. And
he's a Toronto. He did Smash Wrestling for years here. Yeah. He's a Toronto guy.
And he did win the title. He only had it for one defense.
Still did it. Still did it.
He still did it, but. Maybe it's best to remember him this way. There's something. I mean, perhaps this differs among cultures, but there's something more. Romantic, but a heroic failure.
Okay,
so tried his best and it didn't quite work. And I was just thinking of. I recently read Michael Palin's book about HMS Erebus, and he writes about how there's a great big statue in London of Captain Scott who got to the South Pole after Amundsen and then died coming back.
Okay,
and he's like, "There's no statue for Amundsen."
Oh,
so it's There's something about the heroic failure that speaks to us, and Johnny embodies that.
Okay, because watching the TakeOver... Nice analogy there, Jesse. You're very intelligent. That's legit. I'm not fucking with you. There was the NXT Prime Target thing, and in that, Gargano's video was... I'm sticking with NXT, I'm not leaving and all this stuff, even though it looked like he was leaving tonight. And he said that this match is going to solidify me as Mr. TakeOver. As when you think of NXT, you're not thinking of your Finn Balor's or your Shinsuke's. You're going to think of Johnny Gargano. And dude, I'm already thinking... I don't want to go to a TakeOver without Johnny Gargano.
I actually got a bit emotional.
Yeah,
I got a bit choked up.
What are we going to do now?
I think the fact that he's my best friend now as well has part to do with that. But I was sad because I think whereas when Nakamura moved IK, he's kind of nothing on the main roster. But when he moved up, I thought there was hope that he'd be a pretty big deal.
You're right.
On the main roster.
Yeah.
I'm just sad because I don't think I'm going to see these incredible Johnny wrestling matches again. I so hope I'm wrong but he's my favourite wrestler and I feel him leaving NXT, I'm just being robbed of seeing him 100%. Put on incredible quality matches.
It's emotional in the sense that for, what is it, we going on 3 years? 2016?
When he was around? Yeah.
It's emotional in the sense that I even go before that, the CWC with Shirt Ciampa.
Yeah.
You had the Dusty Classic. This was more than somebody not winning the title, coming up short in that kind of match, but given the send-off vibe, and it felt very definitive, it's at the end of a chapter of NXT that it's standalone.
Yeah.
It is as good as anything in wrestling over the last 5 to 10 years.
100%.
When you look at that Johnny wrestling storyline. Disappointing we never got the match with Ciampa, the kind of the blow-off to that whole feud.
Could still happen.
It could still happen, and I hope it does. And then circle back to the Undisputed Era, they didn't fulfill the prophecy.
Not yet.
Which, going off the air, I kept thinking, boy, it would have been something if Johnny's lined in the ring. Mm-hmm. You're getting the sense that maybe this is it for Johnny, But that's kind of the focus, is these guys all have the titles.
Sure, but they didn't even do that, yeah.
So it did feel like at the end there was no post angle, there was nothing.
But it's a year prophecy, so it makes sense to pay that off at the end of the year.
Yeah, just speaking towards when it went off the air.
Sure.
I think we mentioned it felt a little flat. We were waiting for something, and I think all these factors contribute to it, and it was emotional.
I am sad to see if he's going. I just think that he did what he said he was going to do. When I think of NXT now, I'm always going to be like, yeah, that was great. But remember when Johnny and Gargano and almost did it? Remember when Gargano and Cole tore it up? Like, nothing's going to...
Gargano and Black?
Like, yeah, like literally every Gargano match. Name a bad one. This may have been one of my least favorite Gargano matches. But, dude, this match was better than most matches you will watch in wrestling these days. Like, that's what's true about it. It's crazy.
Okay, Scrump, one more thing and then let's go to feedback.
Yeah.
I think we've almost gone as long as the show itself.
Yeah, so really quickly, we talk about how Gargano is like an excellent storyteller. I don't think that this is the last we've seen of him. I think that's just another story that he's playing. You know, I'm staring at an Avengers poster right now, and Avengers Endgame was sort of this like similar story where the heroes know what they have to do and they swear, they learned last time, and they know what they have to do to overcome the odds this time.
So we're just waiting for the reboot.
And they don't. They don't do it. That movie ends with everyone just going, what just happened? And I think Johnny is smart to, like, those videos. The Target ones made it seem like Johnny is walking out.
Champion.
He's gonna walk out champion, and he didn't. So I very much think there is still that redemption story. I don't think they'll tell it right away. They still have 3 or so months until the next pay-per-view. So I don't think he's leaving, but I'm definitely much like interested to see. I read ahead, so I'm interested to see what happens at the next set of tapings, because there is the possibility he just shows up on SmackDown and is another guy.
I just can't imagine NXT without Johnny Gargano. What am I gonna do Wednesdays, guys? Like he's literally one of my favorite wrestlers. And this is just me as a huge fan of wrestling. Like, he definitely is one of the best guys, and I just hope he doesn't leave, because now I'm going to be really mad.
I'll present this question to Davie and Braden. Would you do a takeover without Johnny and kind of prolong his eventual return to NXT? We just don't see him for a bit.
Sure, I mean, if that's what we got to do, then we got to do it. He's definitely going to go away for a little while, regardless of what happens. Dude, we're recording this Saturday night, literally after TakeOver. By the time someone's listening to this, he could have shown up on Raw. He could show up on SmackDown. He could show up on 205.
I'd rather him disappear than show up on Raw tomorrow, on Monday, and not have a plan.
Yeah.
Like so many guys do. Yeah. Anyway,
we have a plan.
Heading over to the forum. Way posted it today and put up a rating. So let's go around the circle. Out of 10, Scrump, what would you have given this?
TakeOver?
I'll give it a 5.
Wow, okay.
The one thing that stood out the most was Io Candice and the disappointment in the prophecy not being fulfilled. You mentioned they still have the year. I really wish it would have happened now, as I feel like it could have injected some new blood into NXT, where it's kind of been lacking. It could still happen. It could still happen.
It's going to happen.
Okay, MJ.
It's going to happen.
On a TakeOver scale, I give it a 5. On a typical show scale, I can give it a 6.5. And I'm going to say the forum said 7, because I think people just love NXT, and what's not to love? We're saying that this show was lackluster.
I mean, we're definitely judging it based on previous NXT. You put this on the main roster, you'd be, wow, that was a really good show.
Let's not, this NXT show is still better than most WWE pay-per-views that get put on, and it's not like a knock on the talent. It's just, this was better paced, better, so it's, if it seems like we're being hard on it, it's just because every other NXT show is so
amazing, so crazy, steals your
Jesse.
7.
Okay, and Braden.
I would give this show a 7 out of 10.
I gave it a 6. The board agree with Jesse and Braden. They gave it 7.19.
Whoa.
My voice is crapping out, so Braden, you go first.
Forum.postwrestling. We post up your feedback. You can put comments or questions. We'll read them right here, right now. Brandon from Oshawa. In my opinion, this was easily the worst takeover in history. Don't get me wrong, it was a decent show, but in comparison with other takeovers, didn't hit the mark for me. Terrible women's match, an alright triple threat, and I didn't think it clicked well. Solid tag match, but no one was on the level of the past tag matches. The main event was all over the place, not great, but not bad. Io Candice was the highlight of the show. He says that the fact only one member of Undisputed Era walked out with the gold gives this show a fail for me. It should have been either all of them or none of them, and then move them up to the main roster so they can murder Roman, which is very weird. You want me to read the second one?
I've got one from Mike Hogan, a friend of the show, who says, "Hi, Davie and Brandon."
Okay, well, we're not reading the rest of it.
Hope you had a great day and night. Gutted I couldn't be there. Another good takeover, but maybe slightly underwhelming. It might be because we've been spoiled with so much great stuff in the G1, but it felt a bit flat. Everyone retaining with no takeover until November doesn't give me hope for a lot of freshness. But with Gargano seemingly moving up and a possible FS1 deal being announced, who knows what's happening with the brand. Definitely a good show, but not at the heights of previous takeovers. Candice EO match of the night for me. Love how the crowd got into it over time. Can't wait to hear your thoughts, mates. Love you really, Brady. Mike Hogan, age 28, from England.
So I guess people are kind of agreeing with us on the main thing. I'll read all the next one here. Bolo from Southampton, UK, another UK. Overall good show, but it didn't quite reach the height of recent takeovers. The end of the first fall in the title match was good, but presented strangely, and the double table bump for the finish looked a bit forced. The best match for me was the Dark Side EO versus Candice. Also, was production a bit more grand this takeover, especially the entrances? Makes you wonder if they are gearing up NXT for the network.
I actually didn't think it was as big as previous. You think of some of Nakamura's entrances and Finn Balor's. I didn't think this was on level. Do any of you have the forum open?
Oh, sorry. I was just I'll go next. Jalen from Pickering was there live, and Mamma Mia was more over than Mia Yim. Sorry, Mamma Mia was more over than Mia Yim, which was very true. The Mamma Mia chants. We watched some clips, and there was a Mama effing Mia from Morrow tonight. I'm sure you all heard. Fantastic. All in all, good show, but I did feel that there was a general lack of good stories going into the show, and most of the matches got over just because it was NXT wrestlers on a takeover. It was nice to see the championship Raptors get some love from fellow champs in the Profits and Dream and Montez Ford really stood out as stars on this show. He's also very over the This Is Awesome and Fight Forever chants, and Cole and Gargano matches are where finishers go to die and where knee injuries get no-sold. Maybe this is a hot take, but I prefer the first Toronto show over this one. 8 out of 10. Wow, your feedback was kind of all over the place here, Jalen, because you're saying you didn't like it and then you liked it and then gave it an 8 out of 10. What did you give the first takeover in Toronto? I wonder.
MJ, I think you got it up.
Yeah, Jamie from Royal
Leamington Spa.
He's from the Spa.
Weird.
Weakest takeover in quite some time. Not that it was a bad show, but pretty average, and I think very little will remain in the memory bar. Io and Candice. Maybe watching the entire G1 has spoiled me, and my standards are now just way too high. That's a good point. It is G1 season, so we do have standards now. To me, the issues largely lie with the final two matches. Shayna and Mia seem to really not gel with each other, and I'm just waiting for Shayna's run to end, or for her to find an additional gear to her style. She has a formula, she does it well, but I'd like something different now and then.
He continues on with a whole novel here. So let's go to the next one here. Go first.
Next we have Ari from Montreal, who we met at the live show.
Oh, yeah, he was there.
Shout out Ari.
Yeah, shout out Ari,
Thanks,
who
Ari.
also, as soon as the show finished, walked right by Jesse and myself and said, holy shit, what a show.
Nice.
Yeah, so shout out Ari. But he says, first off, the tailgate was a great appetizer for the main course. Thank you, Davie and Braden, for an awesome event. The show itself, for me personally, was amazing. It was my first experience at an NXT event, and both my brother and I had a blast. The triple threat was something else, and man, I've never seen a cage match like that. It was a real treat. I've never heard people be so pissed for the tease of thumbtacks and not getting them. So we weren't the only ones, us and the 10-year-old. Great to meet fellow postmarks, and overall great show, and pretty random, but I did not expect John Pollock to be so tall. Ari, that wasn't John, that was Jesse from the Six. I see the similarities. He says, question, do you guys somehow see a War Games match involving Street Profits and Dream versus Undisputed Era for all the gold?
All the gold.
And that's actually something we touched upon when we were walking home.
Show. Yeah, we were like, yo, let's do War Games, but all the gold on the line.
Okay, we go to Mekhleth. TakeOver was epic. Io and Candice had one epic match that delivered big time. I loved the NXT Championship match that stepped things up and felt better than their last match. Look forward to rewatching this with Soulfly later in the week. And Dave, you owe me a first time, long time. I owe you a first time, long time. Okay, first time, long time.
First time, long time. Even
no, he's not a first.
You might not be. Someone did say it to us as we were leaving the venue. Yeah, this guy was sitting like off to us in the front and didn't talk to us the entire show. And literally, as we're leaving, he goes, "Hey guys, by the way, I love the show. First time, long time." I was like, "What? You knew we were sitting behind you and you didn't say hi." I don't know who you are, but thank you for listening. Let's go to Mystery. Io versus Candice was the big match of the night for me. Probably the best match on the card. And since you guys likely haven't seen it, Triple H mentioned he was almost completely speechless during the match on the post-show interview. He went on to tease another Shayna-Io match as a result of Io's victory tonight. Okay. It would be weird, but on the other hand, I think it would be absolutely amazing to see Io force Shayna to tap, snap, or nap. And I don't know how it came across TV, but I don't know how it came across live, but on TV, the Yim Baszler match was heatless. I think you would get more noise from a corpse in a graveyard. Damn, that is cold-blooded.
Shout out graveyards.
Yeah, I'm not going to, we were there live. It was quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, go for it. Who's next?
I got Evil.
Evil
was there live tonight. He says he's only been to 2 shows in his life, including this one, so he was really missing the commentary, but still loved most of the card. I was really excited for the Io Candice match, and it totally delivered. I was already not on the Mia Yim bus, and I'm definitely letting it go. The whole match was dead for me. The final match was good, but I felt like a lot of drama was gone from the match once each of the other members lost, because Adam Cole would have to win. I don't quite understand that. Also, couldn't bite on any near falls when you know someone has to go through a tail before the finish. That's true. Still a great time, though.
Yeah, I always see that. If the table is set up, what do you call it?
Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, someone's got to do it, and then if you don't, it's like when you grab a bag and act like there's thumbtacks in it, but there's not. You want to do one there? Go, MJ.
I got one. Malachi, pretty decent show. The prophecy ending so quickly was a bit of a bummer. Tag match didn't quite live up to the potential I thought it should. Second match, though, oh god, did those ladies deliver? Match of the night. Can we all just agree that Shirai has the best theme going?
Oh my god, does she? You can't even find it on YouTube. I can't even find the actual version. You got to find someone recorded it at Full Sail, and I'm I'm bumping it, and you hear kids sneezing in the background.
Yeah, he has some comments about the Dunn match and the Riddle. I'm assuming I wasn't the only one that's seen Matt Riddle during Yim's entrance. Speaking of Riddle, the impromptu fight was pretty fun. Rip Officer Man Bun.
Jobber Cop Man Bun.
Finally, Gargano 3 was an absolute clusterfuck of a match for all the right reasons. Just nonstop madness. Only complaint is the second fall went way too long. Johnny should have beat him down and pinned him so they could spend the rest of the time in the Moxley Madhouse. Also, I would have lost my mind if one of the weapons ended up being a broken crutch.
Right, yeah, true. Yeah, we didn't get the broken crutch from Gargano. Let's go to one last one here. Harry from Houston. As far as takeovers go, this was weak in my opinion. None of the matches except the main event hit the level I was expecting. The tag match was just kind of there. The Io Candice match didn't leave much of an impression on me other than Io's over-the-top facial expressions. The triple threat was a disappointment for the level I expect for those three, and the women's title match was probably better than the other women's match, but still a bit underwhelming. The main event was very good, but the worst of the Gargano-Cole matches, and probably the worst Gargano main event. I hope you guys had a good time regardless, but yeah, this show was just not a highlight for me. Man, do people hate this show or what? No, I actually, I don't like to be negative, but sometimes I have to be, and I still enjoyed this show. Quite fun.
I did not enjoy the Mia Yim Shayna Baszler match.
Yeah.
The rest of the show was great. Yeah. We're just really spoiled when it comes to these takeovers.
I think that's it. We're just we've seen the craziest things come out of these shows, and then maybe we're just oh, this is just okay.
It was very similar to the last roundtable we did, where the 1 week match on the card was Walter versus Pete Dunne.
And people say that's their match of the year this year.
It was still a very good match. It's just like Davie said, we're spoiled.
Yeah, we're spoiled brats, to be honest.
This is the first time that I'm done watching a TakeOver, and I'm actually curious if I'll find that the main card show, so in this case it'll be SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I'm curious if that one actually steals the weekend for me, or it's just what I prefer this weekend. Usually that's never the case. Convinced by Saturday night that, no, nothing's topping TakeOver. But we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. I still enjoy the show. I'm still looking forward to NXT, especially with all the talks of this FS1 deal. If this changes NXT entirely, maybe that's why all these things happen for a specific reason, because maybe they have to build it up again for a complete TV show. So it makes a lot of sense. I still enjoyed the show. What was the match of the night for everyone? Can we agree that it was Io Shirai and Candice LeRae? Or would you say the main event really did it for you? Because I don't think any of the others really stole the
Candice.
show. Yeah, what do you guys think? We really tried to get that chant going, and no one really... I guess we're our own little clique where we thought,
Unless the chant goes wah 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 wah, no one's interested.
Yeah, these North American fans, right?
Io Candice for me as well.
I really enjoy that, and I'm actually just looking forward to more of Io Shirai. She should just be the takeover of just Io Shirai
and Candice.
Yeah, and Candice.
Really,
you know what? Yeah. Damn it, you're right. I do agree. So that is our TakeOver Toronto 2 review. But a shout out to anyone who came to our TakeOver tailgate in Toronto at Wide Open earlier today. It was fantastic. Everyone who showed up, you guys were so amazing. I've met. Hopefully I got to say hi to you. If you didn't say hi to me, we'll hi to you now because you guys are amazing. And we got so many messages on like Twitter and stuff from people like literally all over the world who were like, hey, I can't come to your TakeOver tailgate, but I want to be there in spirit. And I know you guys were. So thank you so much for anyone who listens to the show and listens and supports us all the time. I honestly appreciate it so much. And again, a big shout out to my co-host, Davie, because he put this, we had this silly idea literally a year ago. When they announced SummerSlam, we were probably at Wide Open having a drink, and we said, wouldn't it be cool if we did a tailgate before NXT? And fast forward, we literally did it, and I thought we had a lot of fun. I just wanted people to have fun, and honestly, I think that's what people did. A lot of people were just like, hey, we just came here to drink some wrestling-themed drinks and watch some wrestling and listen to wrestling themes, and we just had a lot of fun. So hopefully we get to do this again down the line. So again, thanks for anyone who supports this show. Go review us on any podcast app you download. Go give us a 5-star rating. Go review us. Go say nice things. You can also go to prowrestlingtees.com/upnext if you want to support us. Support yourself and buy a t-shirt because we got some cool ones there. And you can follow us on our socials. I am at the Brady on Twitter and Instagram. I guess we should promote everyone's social medias here since we have a whole round table. Scrump, where can they find you?
Before we get to that, you briefly touched upon it. All the people we met. We were there with Braden from New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
We were there
Forgot
with him.
about him.
Super nice guy. I don't know if we're killing his gimmick. He is a sweetheart of a man. But you can find me at PWTcast. I just started my own podcast.
Right.
I've talked with some of the Post family.
Yes.
And we hope to have Brendan Fraser on soon. But that is at PWTcast on Instagram and Twitter.
Excellent. What about you, MJ? Do you got anything to promote? Now's your time.
I'm going to take the moment to promote the Post Wrestling Forum, where I'm quite active.
Oh,
I thought it was a great showing by the community today. I talk to that community.
It's so weird. Wrestling internet brings weird. I wouldn't be friends with any of these people if it wasn't for the internet.
We're going to have a second year of the Post Wrestling Fantasy Football League.
Wow, I'm not going to do that. Jesse, where can the people find you? The rebranded.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
What's your socials?
Twitter and Instagram, Jesse from the Six.
Excellent.
Just punch, you'll find it.
Yeah, you'll find it.
And I am at Davie Portman.
So again, thank you so much for listening. You can listen to us review NXT every Thursday on the Post Wrestling Network. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll be back this week with the NXT, the upNXT Hangover show. Who knows what we'll talk about? Because I don't know. But thank you so much for listening. Goodbye, and be safe.
Ahoy!